If you love me, you'll be loyal. If you love me, you'll be kind. If you love me, you'll love me. He's walking me home. I'm excited. Give Lendile head boy. The last number. So Lendile head boy. I'm a tennis captain. I'm a swimming captain. So yeah, I mean, it kind of works together.
Your son wrote a song. I want you to comment as much as you want about it.
King David Studio Podcast.
How are you, man?
I'm fabulous. How are you, King David?
It's such a pleasure to have you. I haven't seen you in so long.
It's such an honor to be hanging with you. I always listen to you on radio and think, ish, he doesn't even invite me to his show. When am I ever going to get an invite? I love the music. I love the ambience.
Wow.
So that's the only reason I want to hang with King David.
Well, I appreciate it. I met up with Boiti not so long ago, and she said exactly those words. Do you know when you're in the studio doing a radio show, you don't realize the people that are listening.
How many hearts you are affecting.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old do you feel?
I feel 30. I feel like is it like you're thinking, is she crazy? No. You know women and age, ne? The reason I feel 30 is not because of age, it's because of my heart.
Yeah.
My heart is back in a place where I just feel like I'm being restored and I've got a chance to do it all over again.
Wow.
And that's like a blessing of note, just to be able to do it all again. I mean, you know, we always think, I'm sure there are a lot of songs that you play, you know, if I could just get a chance to do it all over again. Mm-hmm. You know, we play them, but we sometimes don't understand the meaning of the things we listen to, the things we talk about.
That's true.
But for me, the true meaning is just restoration and just starting over on my terms and not being afraid anymore, because I think we live a life where we are always scared about everything.
Yeah.
You're scared about your work, you're scared about your business, you just scared it won't work. And I think it has worked and not worked and worked and not worked for so long that either way I'm ready for it.
Why do you feel the need for this restoration? Why does it matter so much to you?
It matters because, you know, when they say, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? I've got the all over again. You don't have to ask me. I'm already doing all over again. That's what it means to me.
Yeah.
Just to do it all over again.
I want to go back to the beginning. Where were you born?
Mufula Avenue in Mufula, in Soweto.
Down the road?
Yeah, well, not born, but born from the hospital. Baragwanath, that is now called Chris Hani Baragwanath. Baragwanath Hospital is where I was born. Wow. My grandmother used to put me in a little box, and you know, obviously my mom was working, so she would be the babysitter of me. And the whole day she's baking, she's cooking, she's doing all these things that smell interesting. And for a little child, it's like almost like a little puppy. And you want to taste everything, anything that's thrown in. So now, because we couldn't afford, like, you know, the fancy things, I see friends and people holding prams and whatever, and they travel with them, and when we had parties, the baby's sitting in this thing, and I'm thinking, wow, let me think back what used to happen to me. I used to be in a little box, like the box that used to carry.
Like apple.
Yes, that box.
Yeah.
And I should put a blanket, and then she'd make sure I'm cushioned from the left to the right so that I'd sit upright.
Uh-huh.
So I've got those pictures where I'd sit upright, and all you would, you know, smell is the food, and she'd make sure that on this side there's no pot so that it doesn't mysteriously fall on me.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And she cooks away. So that was me, you know, in Mufolo, in that house where my grandmother just used to babysit me and teach me everything about food.
Yeah. And
without knowing
that you were learning.
Yeah.
Did you learn?
Absolutely. I mean, I learned many other things about food, but it started there. Just the hospitality. I'm a very hospitable person, and I think I learned that from my grandmother, because anybody who walked in, oh, batlate, I cannot do Google today.
Yeah. Oh, hell.
You think the budget is gone now?
Yeah. You even feel bad.
So I kind of adopted her tendencies because she was also Sophie, and I'm Sophie. So I believe I just took everything about her, to be honest.
And who else? You speak about it like there were very few people. Who else was home?
It was just me, my grandmother, my grandfather, of course.
Yeah.
But he was always dressing up nice with his nice hat. That's what I
Really?
see. And walking in the garden with his nice hat. Not a straw hat, it's not a cheap, it's a real hat. You know those ones with the ribbon?
Oh, it's a big deal.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Those. So you can imagine he had a collection. So every day he would wear a different one, sit in the garden, or yes, when he would do the garden, he'd put on a straw hat, and I'd ask myself, why I change heel? Isn't this the same thing?
Wow.
Only later when I'm old, I'm realizing, oh, dura. It cannot be part of the sun.
Wow. And did he have any influence in your life at all, besides this stylish guy that's always looking
Church.
amazing?
He had a thing about church. You know, these days I don't believe much about church.
Yeah.
Not about God, but about church. But he taught me, on Sunday we dress up, we go to church. He did Bible study in the house, and there didn't need to be 20 people, just the 3-4 of us in the house. Bible study every week without fail. That's how I got to know my Bible. Singing had to happen before prayer. Prayer couldn't. The cell group could not start without the prayer. So it was all in order. Rabina, Pedro, and
Oh yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then after Sefil, like a prayer after prayer, the start. And you know, and it's just Bible study. I don't really remember anything spectacular about the Bible study. I think I was not paying attention. I was just being a kid thinking,
when are we done?
You know, but I just knew that something's happening about God.
Yeah.
And these people are just not stopping. Who is this guy? We don't
grow
even
up
see
like
him.
that. We grow up like that.
Yeah.
Where church, all of that.
Oh, I don't remember washing dishes. I was the spoiled one. I don't remember washing dishes. But interestingly, I had interest in everything Coco was doing. So she was washing dishes that put le plankanyana, climb on it, stulonyana. It'll go tooth.
Wow.
You know, so that's where I got my personality from. I created it without realizing that I'm learning something. And to other kids, when you say to them, wash dishes, they get so angry. It's like, why I must wash the dishes. So for
I have a nephew who is always happy to wash dishes.
Really?
Yeah, Tato is, you don't even need to tell him.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing how when you speak about that, and I imagine only one person that I've ever met who's happy to do it, and clearly you have that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I find dishes the quickest and the fastest chore to do. And what.
That's not your thing.
Oh, my knees.
So that means you have clean knees then. Mangula hawa.
I clean it, but because I'm strategic. I'd put kosu.
Okay.
Like, why would I just put my knees on the ground?
Yeah.
They were precious. I mean, I look at girls who've got black knees. I'm thinking, girl, you were not strategic.
You didn't think this through.
Skin lightening is not even helping. You still have them black knees.
Jeez. And do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do. I have my late sister. She died when I was probably 17.
I was quite young.
Yeah, she died when she was 24, 25.
Wow.
And then I have another sister who's older than me. She's probably in her early 60s. And then I have my brother who's also in his early 60s. I think I'm because if the other one was born like 1965, it means I'm the baby of the family. I came much, much later to them. So I have a brother and a sister.
You say much, almost like
10-year gap. Yeah, and then khatla my dad ekeskom ekesiso khato gona le ngwanyana mo le mo dube o hoto ka reng le khalate aramme wa ka who you know was a single woman with kids, and he just heard about this woman who's a healer. My mother was a healer.
Wow, okay.
When I say healing, she just used her Bible, water, and a candle.
Wow.
And then my dad had gone to he had kidney problems. He had gone to all these spiritual healers and everybody and anybody. And somebody said, Mchana, I could try about the traditional Mutukio and Ohot. Sisters. So,
so I can healing love.
Yes, and he married her. Arwena, you healed me. I'm going to marry you, and he married her.
That's amazing.
Where's her kids?
And then you came along.
And then I came along. So I'm the one with all the gifts.
Did your dad bring any children to the marriage?
No, just me.
What's any failure?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of girls who came and said he's the father. I'm sure he said, I suka. My father nearly a boxer or telang or wakanang, so I'm sure he said, hey, excel your fluke. And I get what's about those days, no about paternity test.
Yes.
So how how about and then what to tameta?
So
So maybe I do have sisters. Maybe I do
You
have
don't
sisters I
know
don't know
them.
about. Yes. I've got a lady who's a very close friend of mine. Her son came to the car and came to say mommy to me. And he said, no, not you. And went to the other one. So it happens.
So you look like obviously Mewa High.
I look like Mewa High, so anything's possible. If we really look, my dad could have done anything.
Was he a good dad?
Yes, he was. Interestingly, he was. He loved boxing. He loved wrestling. He used to be a boxer himself. He qualified as a minister. You know, he had a certificate to prove it. He went to Fort Hare University. He was very eloquent. You know, he spoke Afrikaans and English fluent, almost like he went to Cambridge. But he just went to Fort Hare, of course. But Fort Hare was like
Well,
Cambridge.
it's like that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all he spoke was English and Afrikaans. How about the Welena Sotho to be like a tall order? So Sotho Saka, I got it from my grandmother and my grandfather. Definitely not from my parents, because they spoke Afrikaans all day.
And obviously amongst themselves, but they could hear Sesotho, they just chose not to speak.
Yeah, my
it.
mother is Tswana from Kimberley, so
Yeah,
obviously
but
she spoke Tswana A.
Yes.
You know, with Afrikaans in the midst.
Of course, yeah. I guess Tswana Sago Kimberley.
Yeah,
And your dad, where is he from?
He's from the Vaal Triangle.
Out
ke
here,
Mosotho-
Vaal.
ke Mosotho, Sotho, you know, and yeah. You know, he never spoke of Bolisotho, Boing. All he spoke about was, your uncles are involved. You know, when you grow up, you don't even ask, Hore, is my uncle from Lesotho? Or maybe my cousins will tell me the proper history
Yes.
when we do a family reunion. But it's never been an interest because I was always in Vaal or Kimberley. So it was like, whatever. You know,
Jeez.
you don't ask because
It's not a
we're
big
so
deal.
caught up. We're so caught
Yeah,
up.
you're busy
in doing my
living.
weave, like getting it on. Like, why would I worry about it?
You know, I was watching an episode here, Kumbule Kaya. It's a 2016 episode, and this lady, Baba Mokreli, like they just walked up to her, "Khalaro batla."
Yeah.
Lingisa kaya.
Exactly. For the what? Like, I'm not...
I can
get tsona.
Yes, Barutlo, Shela Mole one, Areho sharp. So you're saying why we asking?
Why are you asking? I mean, what am I gonna do? Go there and revel what? Like,
Yeah.
No. I haven't got a father who's lost. If I did, I'd probably go there and look for him. But
That's
no.
true.
Yeah.
And your dad, we speak of him as a was, like he's no longer with us.
Yes.
And-
He's no longer with us. He passed on at age 85, I think.
Wow, he lived well.
My grandfather at 90-something, my grandmother at 90-something. So I understand where my looks come from.
Yes,
And David
yes.
Mashabela, you must understand, Hore. I get reinvented every 10 years. God just gives me youth. I'm always at, okay, maybe 30 years is an exaggeration, but maybe
It's close
35,
enough. No, it's close
38,
enough.
yeah.
Yes.
It's close enough, and I'm not trying to be young either, by the way.
Oh, you're not?
No, but I'm not trying to be old either.
Yeah, like
You know about Abraham Lobo Sarah in the Bible?
Yes.
Where she said, oh God, will I have a child at this age? Are you crazy? And laughed at God. And God just says, well, no,
I can
you
do
know,
anything.
so that age, Abraham and Sarah, I think I want to be there forever, where God is able to just keep restoring me and reinventing me.
Do you know, listening to you talk about restoration is such an important thing. I guess we need to reinvent ourselves, careers as well. But I don't want to shoot straight to your career because it's such an amazing one.
Long.
Yeah, it is. But I want to start to your way interest in certain things happened when you were young. What drew your attention? What was the one thing that you were seeing around you and you thought, that looks kind of interesting?
Love looked kind of interesting.
Really?
Yeah. You know, what used to attract me about people, because I used to love sitting Mostupungo High. I used to just love people who are just happy. When I say love, I'm not talking about mujolo. I'm talking about just love for life, love for everything. A smile is love.
Yeah.
You know, when a person is jumping up and down and saying, yeah, they're happy.
Wow.
It's all about loving what you're doing, being in love with yourself, loving yourself enough to always be smiling and not always be sad. You know, so when I was growing up, I just loved love as one of the things. I loved people. I loved taking care of people, even as a young girl, because remember, I was around my grandmother, was always taking care of batho. So I thought, Lennamos, I can do this. But I didn't realize that I'm too young for it. So always when kids come, Le batla jang? And my grandma is listening. What's enough?
Yes. And yet you're offering people food.
So I took those tendencies from my grandmother. A lot of them. I mean, my mother's very similar, but obviously I spend more time with my grandmother. And lebatlahojang was one of the big things, which I still do now.
Yeah.
My home is always warm. Even if I'm the brokest person in town, food is something I definitely have.
Hey, people are going to watch this. Hey. But we know for sure.
David Kau, they know. We used to go to church, and after that, so other people are like, but people are not mentioning their houses. Like there's something wrong. But no. Sophia
Yes.
So let's not get it twisted.
Yeah,
all your wives can cook, we agree, but
because
yeah, so that's what they loved about my home. I don't think they liked my house. I think they just loved the food. I don't think they liked me. They just loved what I do.
The thing about good food, they make every home, irrespective of whether it's made of corrugated iron or it's built with mud. They make every home. Food makes every home special
and warm. You
Yes.
know. So even my son at his age now, he's 22. He'll say to me, "Mom, is Auntie cooking again?"
Oh,
and then I'll say,
"Want your food?"
And I'll say, "What is Auntie cooking? Isn't she cooking fish and whatever?" I don't know. I just want that pasta of yours, that creamy one. And then next week, can you also make prawns? And then the other week. So he's putting a menu, and I'm like, why don't you just put it on the fridge and say this is the menu?
Yes.
He says, yes, I'll do that. But one disappointed every time I say I'm not cooking.
Well, almost since, I guess, or he's gotten used to your food.
Absolutely. I mean, lockdown was the best because he was always just next to me, seeing me make something out of eggs, seeing me make something out of just.
So you're one of those people.
Yeah.
You could have a channel.
Absolutely. I'm planning that for health though.
Yes.
To teach people how to eat well. And that food is life.
That's
and
true.
And we think weaves are life, and we think wearing a Gucci and a Versace is life. It's fabulous. It makes you look good. Image is everything we say. But I think life is everything.
Yeah.
And having a healthy body is everything. And I learned that from my own illness. To know that if I had taken care of my health better, I wouldn't be where I am. Simple.
I have stages in how I speak to people, particularly those like you. And I realized that you would go everywhere.
I go everywhere, so you're in trouble.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Because we get a lot of stuff that we wouldn't have otherwise. The love thing, I'm holding on to that.
Okay.
And the reason I'm holding on to it is because, we're almost living in a time when we don't feel it or see it as much as we have over the years.
We should, yeah.
Yes. And is that an observation that you're making as well? And what is it that you're noticing about the love that you saw when you were young and you noticed that we are not feeling, we're not seeing?
I once said to a partner of mine, do you understand the word love?
Yeah.
Because I use it randomly,
Boy, I love you.
Boy, I love you. But random. To even random people. And then you say, did you even understand what you're saying? No, I don't mean it. I mean, whatever, you are the love of my life. And I'm thinking, people are lost. And it's so sad. It was not even traumatic for me. It was more sad to say people, they don't understand what is love. Full stop. Nakinga from a Christian perspective, because I say God is love, love is God.
True.
Which means, what does God represent? He represents peace, joy, harmony, all the forgiveness,
so
all
if
those
God
wonderful.
is love, it means everything else. All those things you just said.
All those things, loyalty.
Yeah.
If you love me, you will be loyal. If you love me, you'll be kind. If you love me, you'll love me. And you'll show me with your actions without even saying you love me, because I'm going to see ka di body language style. TV. So over the years, I actually realized people don't know. Is it because they were not exposed? Because sometimes I do feel sorry for them, by the way. Because I'm thinking, maybe Motona are exposed.
Yes.
Because
wrong.
exposed, and it's not your fault. How exposed and how it's use a love like you're saying here when Natlakwan. They're using it like that.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you. And you've just met me today, you love me. Love me how? You like me, yeah. I suka. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yo, mangibona njengavele ngakuthanda. I think that love is a different love, and we understand it through our African culture. But then when you go to English, it becomes very technical because it's very literal.
Yes.
You know, how ngiyakuthanda baby since ngicala ukubona ngiyakuthanda. You know, shaya molimo, and anyway, like it.
Yes.
But once you say I love you,
it's a different meaning.
It's like caviar, darling. You can't mix caviar with
Tell me though about, because I like your general perspective of love. It's more holistic.
Yeah.
And that love is the love that you show to strangers.
Absolutely.
Yes,
now you get it.
Yes.
It's from the heart.
Yeah.
It's rooted. It's deep rooted. So if you just say to me, I love you, and it doesn't come with that root, it means you're not even planting a seed in this relationship, whether you're my friend, whether you're my man, whether you're my child.
Yeah.
You need to plant a seed, because with that seed of love that is genuine, it has to be a seed that's going to permeate or whatever.
Yes,
it's going to turn into like osmosis. Understand? Yeah. And you understand.
Permeate osmosis in one sentence. How you
But I just think that how we go from that level, you simply understand what it means, because you're taking it from seed level. Look at the love of a tree. It's from a seed, it turns into a little green thing, and then ning is tokonyana, and then ning is tlhare. By the time you're 10 years old, and you're like, please, why would I grow up a tree?
It bears fruits, and you enjoy it.
And when you're eating that fruit, what do? You smile. And even if it doesn't have fruit, it creates shade.
That's true.
And even if it doesn't create shade, it creates oxygen.
That's
you smile all the way with the seed.
You made me change the way I see the Taratsaga next door. It's the guy who next door urtima di avocado mar.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Urtima di avocado.
So now at least I'll appreciate his tree for the oxygen.
Yeah. Or I breathe better in my house because there's a lot of toxins around. There's these cars that are just taking out all these things.
Yeah.
And when you've got a lot of trees around you, you're actually a healthier person.
That's true.
Yeah.
Tell me about Sophie in primary school. What kind of child were you?
You're the first person who's asked me all these wonderful memories. Sophie in primary school, she was already in Zimbabwe at an orphanage. I'll tell you the story of the orphanage later.
I'm looking at my eyes.
Yeah.
Wide open.
So I was like probably 7-8 years old. I was in an orphanage because, there were riots in South Africa, all this. And now my mother's birth father was a Zimbabwean chief.
Okay.
So he had two wives. He had a South African wife and a Zimbabwean wife.
Yeah.
So when I went to Zim, I was meant to go to my grandfather, but he died.
Oh, no.
Then my sister was living there, so I went to live with my sister. But my sister she was much older.
Yes.
So she was already married at 18 or 19, and she already had 1 or 2 kids. So she was living on a farm. So they were milking cows every Saturday. You want to know about my childhood?
Jeez, man.
Honey, there's nothing I don't think I'll ever be broke with the things I know how to do. Milking cows. You're not what, talent, whatever. I'll say, okay.
I'll milk a cow.
Imagine me taking a picture. I'll make money just by milking a cow.
That's it.
Yeah. So they used to have a farm that had sugarcane, it had maize, it had cows, it had calves, it had chickens, it had pigs, it had everything. And they used to run the farm themselves.
Jeez.
The farm was government owned, but he was the manager for the other part of the farm, and on his side he was planting all these things, and he had a cow.
That's what it was. Yes, of course.
So he was making his own money by selling cow milk in 2-liter bottles.
Listen to that.
So he had
fresh cow milk.
Yeah. So I didn't know the language, so he had a van.
Yeah.
So Nali, his kids, we would sit. They were younger than me. They were younger than me. Yeah, they were younger than me, probably even 10 years younger than me. Not 10, but like 4 or 5, because they were younger. So we would sit and they would say, Mangwanani, like, it's culture to greet.
Of course.
So Lena, Mangwanani, And then whatever they would do, I would emulate. That's why siblings is a very good thing. Together.
Together.
Because the other ones
They
make
learn
the
from
other
each
smarter.
other.
Yes. You don't even have to take them to school, but
Yeah.
So, and then eventually I could speak the language. Voila.
Wow.
I'm already speaking the language.
You could
Before
speak
1 year.
Shona, so you
I
still have a
speak
bit of Shona in
Not
you.
a bit. I speak Shona fluently.
What?
Yes.
I know Ndepi.
Ndepi, what's up, honey?
That's all I know.
Chichirufamba,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Wow.
So I then got a little older, and I didn't like the farm life because I was born for fabulosity, and I just thought this place.
How old were you when you thought, nah, I can't do
How
this?
8? It was a year that I was there, and I was like, Geshapu no.
I'm out.
I'm out.
How do you say Geshapu in Shona?
Andrupo.
I'm good.
Drupo. So I then wrote my mother a letter because I was very smart, and I said, I don't like to be here. But also my brother-in-law, Niki wana promiscuity nyana. When kids say Ntatole, there's something about you, into the snacks. I knew because of the way I was brought up by my grandparents. So as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, I was smarter than a regular 7, 8-year-old.
Wow, yes.
So I knew how to read, write because of my grandparents taught me all
They're
those
so
things.
good at that, grandparents.
Yes. So I was one of those kids that could read at a very early age, and my father, of course, was well learned, so he was always teaching me. And my grandma also taught me you must always assess character. Ngwanolo o dulang atlemo, ska tlhola dlala le ena. O sele. O tlo ruta ntho tse snacks.
Yes, immediately
So
you
you
learn
already
that.
have that background. Ya gore motho na ke bona ka rona ntho tse. Ke la bona malome o suna mare hai. Ning o kenya leleme ka ra ya.
Something is not
So
right.
when kids say I was raped as a young kid, you don't understand why they say that. And it's very important for us as mothers. When a child says that, you must believe them the first time, not the second or third time.
Yeah.
So I told my sister, and I said, hey, Luna,
these kids, yeah.
English. Mama, and I didn't tell her what was happening.
Home,
I said, I want another school.
Okay.
Here they're not teaching me English. So my mother was like, yo, ngwanaka, go tlo fela ka ena. Aber okay, ke tla kala matrene ke tle. So she didn't have much money. Na re tsa dikota ko sekolong le di cold drink. So my mom, she was a beauty queen, but it all ended when she got her gift of praying for people.
Yeah.
And when you pray for people, it's not a business.
No.
It's a gift, but ba go leboga. And if ba sa go leboga, you get on with it.
That's it.
So she was selling the cold drink le dikota le magwenya.
Eish, nka kry-ile motho a mo lebogileng ka 100,000.
Not that wants her something, So she came after some time, and then she didn't ask me what, she kind of figured out, because I didn't tell her that I just said I want to speak English. And it's going away because here they're speaking Shona only, and really the ambience is just cows. I don't want cows. I want to see people.
As an 8-year-old Sophie.
Yeah. No.
They're cows, yeah.
Cows. And I already knew how to speak fluent English. So English, I wasn't taught there. I was taught from home. My father was eloquent. So, how well, and Sophie, come here. Sit down. What's happening? And you'd have to explain yourself in English. He never forced me to speak Afrikaans.
Never.
So when I was there, I was very clear. Even when I wrote the letter, I was very clear. So I was like in my grade 3s, grade 4s kind of level. And my mother came and she said, hey, let's go find her boarding school. This child is dramatic. So, but I can't afford it, so let's find a cheaper one. So, and I'm thinking, as long as I can get away from here, take me to any boarding school.
You were running away from a much bigger potential problem.
I get it now as Leonard. So it was already embedded.
Yes.
That's why they say foundation is very key. Yeah.
The first 7 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was like, dangerous. Never. So, but I'm now keeping a secret. I'm not telling my mother what's happening. So she comes by train. We go. So my sister finds an orphanage.
Yeah.
Now that's where the orphanage came in.
Jeez.
It was free of charge. So all they needed to do was to do papers for me to say I was born there and everything. I was Sophie Ndaba. My grandfather's surname.
Yeah.
So it was authentic. I was just not born
So
there.
you still have that identity.
I have the passport in the house. Yes.
Sophie Ndaba. There we go.
Sophie Ndaba, honey. So I then went on to the orphanage, and now the problem was I can exactly clever anyway. So the problem was now you're in dormitories. You must also cry. So I missed my mom, so I'd also join in the cries and whatever. And I'd think, okay, I can't cry every day. It's a bit much. So I would just close my head and dream about the future with a blanket. And that led to a very interesting thing that we'll talk about later. Of
Don't
how
forget.
I started my foundation with the blanket.
Okay.
The blanket started at the orphanage where, the only thing that you didn't share was your blanket. So everything else you shared.
But not the blanket.
But not the blanket. So I used to cover myself and dream about my future, how I'm going to be a supermodel, how I loved modeling. So I thought I was going to be a Naomi Campbell and all of that. And
you are Naomi Campbell to me.
oh, thank you, darling. So I then went where?
This is Sophie, the Zimbabwean Sophie.
Yes.
That we are really talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So she's in this orphanage. It's a beautiful orphanage. It's in Eastleigh. It's in a beautiful suburb in Harare. And it's got a lot of sponsors. These fancy orphanages are not like the rural ones. There's a lot of old men and women who are bored to do what to do with their money. So they always come in there. Whose birthday is it next month? I'll buy the cake.
And that's the English, historically English Zimbabwe.
Absolutely.
With a lot of these rich white men and women.
Absolutely. And these are people that didn't learn Goforte. They did Cambridge everything, right? So they're well learned. They even understand what it means to give. They don't have to be Christians to know that. They just give because it's a good thing, So there was this old man. I think his name was Mr. Mterakesh or something. And he was Jewish, I think. I'm just pronouncing the name wrong. And he used to bring the cake himself. He had a calendar of everybody's birthday.
What?
And he would dress up Italian style. I used to like his shoes.
Yes.
So I used to look at his shoes. I'm not looking at the cake. I'm looking at the shoe, and then I'm looking at the belt.
Wow.
And then I'm looking at the shirt, and I'm thinking, nice. They give a lot of Cosmo at that age. I get on board. So I knew.
Wow.
So when he brings the cake, I'd ask him, when you bring mine, please make it bigger, because let's be real. When we cut this cake, between 14 of us in this dormitory, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And he'd say, you make sense. And I say, I'm not saying I don't appreciate what you do, but can you bring a bigger cake? Not the cake, it's like over Fernos.
So you were 8 years old, a bigger cake.
It made sense. 14 of us sharing it. Okay, you get the bigger piece, but come on.
Yes.
I wanted a bigger cake.
Didn't the parents think the orphanage will have a negative, and I say negative very carefully here, influence on how you see the world, because you're growing up, as you said, with other children that are experiencing life very differently. They don't have parents. You knew where your parents were. You even knew where your grandparents were.
I think they knew I was smart.
Yeah.
When you have a slow child, you really worry. Let's be honest. When you have a smart friend or a smart child or a smart girlfriend or wife, you worry less.
Yeah.
Because you know how they're going to take charge. You don't have to say, please, tray.
Yeah. You don't have to repeat yourself.
You don't even have to say it.
Yeah.
You know they got this.
That's it.
So my parents kind of knew I got this at that level. Obviously not at a higher level. At a level where I'm not going to tell on them and say, but I've got a mom. The kids
you won't say too much.
Don't tell them, you have a mother.
Yeah.
With me, they knew they didn't even need to brief me. I was briefed. I was briefed once, it was done.
Yeah.
So they were just, the matrons knew, I get those days.
Oh, yeah.
Not the viewing Sunday.
Really?
Oh, yes.
What?
Imagine a movie like that, where there's a viewing on a Sunday, and then
this view.
I get an cute so and I was also eloquent.
So they knew the deal.
Yeah. They knew the deal. They were getting paid for the deal.
Yeah.
So other kids, you don't get paid, you just get dumped there. Now they were getting paid. I guess or what, but they were getting paid.
Yes.
Why would they like me so much? Something was happening that I don't know.
There was a bigger deal.
There was a story there. Yeah. Just that nobody got arrested for me. And
the viewing was for other people to come and pick a child, essentially.
To adopt.
That's what I mean, yes.
Mostly
Eventually they say
white
we want
couples.
that. Yeah.
So if I was adopted, actually, I would have been well off, guys. I wouldn't have to be working so hard.
You know, you sound like going to regrets.
I'm regretting and I thought, why? Something for it. Me too. I'm here. Did you notice me?
I want a bigger cake.
I think I said that far. I was smart, but I was not that far.
Wow.
You know. But yeah, I mean that was my life in the orphanage, and there were a lot of ghosts there. I thought so. There were things that were moving, and we didn't know it was moving.
Yes.
You know, and only when I understood, you know, the Bible and understood spirits and what they mean, and my mother started explaining things that are on earth cannot move. They are illegally on earth. A spirit is a spirit. It can be your guardian angel, but it cannot be coming as a human form in front of you.
Yeah.
That is evil. So I knew, okay, so it means that time no evil
in there somewhere.
But I get nane ke rapela.
Yes.
Se ke tsaba rapela ka dithangs papa ne ke rapela ke re wa sandara bashanda out.
The granddad's influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was just that thing I was just smarter, wiser. And I always told them, I can help you cook in the kitchen for extra cash.
Jeez.
Because we had cash in our little bottles that had your name.
Okay.
So on a Saturday, if people are going to the mall, 100 rand, 20 rand, 5 cents. Whatever you have, you go, let's amaka line. Hambango line. Everybody knows I'm a children's home child, you know. But
at the mall.
Yes, you have to go in a queue. Like you walk a chain.
Yes,
you don't just
each other.
A chain. So only when you're a senior, which is Form 1. Like we're doing Cambridge. So
Yes.
Form 1, you don't hold anybody. You're a senior now. So you would dream of being a senior, like literally, because you know the freedom that comes with it.
How long were you there for?
Until I was in grade 7.
So quite a substantial time, actually.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it was my
It surely formed a personality.
Absolutely. I mean, all you had to do there was church and the nursery where you would say, okay, I'm now in grade 7, 14, 13, 12. I can take care of a baby. So you'd be allowed to pick up a baby. The babies that are in the orphanage.
Oh,
that have
yes,
been
of
left.
course. Yes.
So others had disease, others were normal. So the ones with disease, you wouldn't be allowed to touch. You'd be allowed to touch the ones that are normal.
Yes.
And they are your brothers and sisters. So you'd say, oh, I'm going to see my brothers and sisters. You'd leave. China, all sorts. It's just interesting. It's a movie all by itself, you know, and I just loved it. I loved being there. I found peace in kids that are not saying, you know, even if I'm not picking them up, you'd be allowed, if you're not a naughty child, to just sit there and do nothing. So I would sit there and just stare at them. Look at how they move their fingers and just have fun, and then just go back to the dormitory, because what else is there to do?
That's true.
You walk around the place, there's sports. I was a sports fanatic. After swimming, there's nothing else to do. After playing tennis, there's nothing else to do. I played tennis, I played hockey,
That was a very fancy orphanage.
Oh, absolutely.
You've said that, but the more you speak, I realize that it wasn't
huge tennis courts, say 2 or 3, I think. Yeah.
And also, growing up in a life like that, I imagine, as you said, the influence is quite obvious. Did you ever find out why there were so many orphans in that time?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of teenage pregnancy at that time.
Yeah.
And a lot of the girls would give birth privately. They'd wear their big tops, give birth privately, dump the kids in the bush.
Ooh.
People find them, bring them there. So that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Teenage pregnancy, just to answer that.
Besides
the other mothers who just don't want the kids,
Yeah, we still have that problem.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone away.
No.
So your relationship with Zimbabwe it runs a lot deeper than the average South African.
Absolutely. I mean, a friend of mine says, hey, but you know, ke bala mona ba argue mo Facebook hore hai ke mo Zimbabwe o fake nyana we get mo South Africa ke mo Zimbabwe. And I laughed and I said, you know, knowledge is power. They don't know anything, and that's okay, because na kwatile why ba bua so ka wena ebile nna ke kgathetse ntse ba bua ka nkere darling, if they don't talk about you, you are dead. Can they just continue to talk about me?
Say something.
Yeah, can they just continue to talk about me? So yes, people have this perception that because they know I speak Shona, especially the Shonas themselves, they believe that, you know how Tish Mataz came and left, how...
Oh, so they
Alice
think you came the same way.
Yeah, but Alice Chavunduga, but Tish Mataz, there's this other guy.
There's many.
Yeah, there's many who are here and have been here since I've been here.
Yeah.
I went to school with one of them, you know, so I was at Roosevelt, they were at Churchill. You know, so all these people ke ba tseba, and you know, when people say, "Oh, Mona fake," I'm thinking,
Oh, they think you're Zimbabwean first.
yes,
Yes,
first.
yeah.
And they don't know ke tswa Parakwana tsena.
Go tswa ngwana ko Mofolo.
Ngwana ko Mofolo. And ke tseba Sotho, so ba ska ntraya gampe. You know?
And now the decision to bring you home, just in inverted commas, home as in South Africa, what led to that decision?
The decision to bring me home, I was pregnant. Ka Rudo.
Okay.
You know my daughter Rudo?
Yes, yes.
Rudo, today she's 32 years old.
Yeah.
So I got Rudo as a teenager, and the family, I then ended up living with that family. I started working for that family. It's interesting. That's why I always say to people, you must always find the good in the bad.
Yeah.
Right? So that was bad, but there was some good in it.
When you say that family, which family are you referring to?
It was family friends of my family.
Yeah, okay.
So they said, instead of Sophie going to orphanage, let her come live with us. I went to live there. I met this guy. I was like, yo,
Still in Zim here.
Still in Zim.
Yes.
And I was like, this guy's hot. But he's our brother. No, he's not my blood brother.
I just met him.
I just met him. Please. Girls. So there were 3 girls in the house. But Sophie, he's off bounds. He's your brother. How? Explain to me how we connect.
I can't believe you.
So they
couldn't explain.
They couldn't explain. So I said, until you can explain, I'm going to do what I want. So privately, we started dating. He was much older. Because I was a much more older mind.
Yeah.
So Bashiman Bako High School, Nabam Boranyana, because I tried dating them and they were so slow.
I can't believe
I remember Sylvester kissing me and biting my lips the whole time.
That sounds like a first boyfriend.
Yes. No, but he was not necessarily my first boyfriend, but he was kissing me. I mean, he's the head boy of Churchill. I mean, head boy, darling. He's good at rugby and good at swimming, and he's got a 6-pack. Surely he should be able to kiss.
He got that wrong.
So he's walking me home. I'm excited. Give Lendile head boy. Last number. So Lendile head boy. I'm a tennis captain. I'm a swimming captain. So yeah, I mean, it kind of works together. So I would walk. I lived in Eastleigh. This family was in Eastleigh.
Yeah.
So this was before the brother, right? So Gadibusa Naka, the schoolboys, and then the head boy is like my target. I get him. Finally, he asks me out, and then he's walking me home. It's Valentine's Day, and then he tries to kiss me. I guess that was the best because he just kissed. He kissed me, and then Sylvester and Loma. Sylvester Keshapoka. So all the girls were like, "Why did you dump Sly?" And I'm like, "I dumped Sly because," and I don't tell them.
Why did you jump Sly?
Why did you dump Sly? And I'm like, Sly ngeke. Oh, Sly.
Sly can't kiss.
Sly can't kiss. Not to me.
That's such an incredible story. Poor Sly. He's going to see this. Sly, you know.
Sly.
Do you remember Sly's surname?
No. I was not really interested. I was interested in his 6-pack. I get an evening, Tantu Wansati Chomuru got the last number.
Yes.
And then the whole school is talking. Do you know who Sophie's dating? Sly. She got Sly. She got Sly. So
and do you know who told Sophie's dumped? Sly.
No, immediately after dump a Sly, I used to like walking so that I can meet Sly along the way.
Yes.
So now the family, my daughter's father's family, they were very wealthy. So they had like 12, 13 cars parked in the yard at any given point. So they lift to school. But you not want to lift? Yes.
I don't want to walk anymore.
My knees are getting damaged. They laugh. I had a drama all the time. So now they started dropping me off Kadikoloi, and then I kind of started liking. Now I understand why young people, baratabo,
yes,
married or not married, they're like, "Chomi, utamaka range, Bentley,
yeah,
you know." And
because you going through that same state of mind.
So I understand it, yeah. So here I am now. It's the home transport taking me to school. So now they say, "Hami, take Sophie to school." Hami is who? Ruda's father. He's older, remember, so he's got a license.
Yes.
So he's driving this left-hand drive because they used to buy cars from England.
Yeah.
So the Chomiko school and said, yo, I can have he's now my brother.
Yes. They're thinking already.
So then I buy into it and I say, yeah, I can so
He drives a car.
Drives a car, left-hand Mercedes, and then the walk.
The walk has done its part.
Yeah.
It got you sly.
Got to Sly at your shop.
Sly bit your lips. Sly is out.
And I was like, who's going to teach Sly to kiss? I'm not going to do that. There's no time.
and you got close with this guy that's dropping you off.
Yes, but then I got a second boyfriend, and then I got somebody who was going to Saints. Now, Saints was like, what's the best school in South Africa for guys?
Jeez, I suck with these.
Yeah.
Because one of them has...
Saint Stithians. I don't even think Saint Stithians. Go, guy? Crawford. Crawford is nothing.
Hilton in Devon. There you go. Jeez,
so
man. Shakes knows these things.
Yeah, so there was a school called Saints.
Yeah.
If you dated a red blazer guy.
Red blazer.
I think I was still young. So on one driver, yeah. But I'm still wanting my age group.
Of course. So you were not seeing him as a potential.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but for rugby.
Yeah.
They're all wearing blazers.
Okay. Yeah.
Watching, not rugby, basketball.
Yeah, okay.
It's a people.
Yeah.
So there's these guys wearing white shorts and white t-shirts with a blazer, a red. Oh my God. So all the girls would wear shorts and go there. It's like an American movie.
For a purpose.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. We're looking for the guys. So we get there and then there's this guy. Wapere, he's quiet. He's quieter than all. That's my target.
That's my target.
Papa, the badges which means he's super intelligent.
Yes,
you know?
yes, he's not just.
Badges, go to tennis, go to hockey, go to chess
Amazing.
club, got a chess club, the brain. Yeah.
You're already seeing the future.
Yeah. So I then met him, dated him, then. Okay, so I knew my aunt and my uncles were not home during the day. It was just the housekeeper, Savvy, who was like a close friend, kind of confidant. So this guy, a Rotlop guy, and they're coming only at 8 o'clock. It's just 12 o'clock. It's a half-day school.
Okay.
And I say, would understand. Let's go have drinks at my house.
Hey,
no.
The helper will understand.
After basketball, coming for drinks at my house. and I remember liking Saint's guy, but he was so far. This long distance thing didn't work. And then I then still cleaved unto Rudo's dad.
That almost worked though.
The Saints.
Yes.
Yeah. Now the Saints was going to work if he lived nearby.
Yes.
Problem is that he lived in Borrowdale. Borrowdale is like the Sandhurst of Joburg. The Sandton and the Sandhurst. It's the last number.
Yeah.
So he lived in Borough. Oh, that's why I could afford to go to Saints. Come on.
The
English high Papa Nelly is another level. Yes, Cyrilenyana. You know Cyril Haro. You see South Africa.
Cyril is stressed.
Yeah, as stressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very eloquent.
Yes.
Kind like our former president Mbeki.
Yeah, got you.
Kind of.
Yeah. Very English influence.
Kind of confidence.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was the end of Saints and Red Blazer, but at least I knew I
like how it's such a Kitlababonsa approach.
Yeah. It wasn't about News Valela, it was just you know, and you know, Saints withered away with time. You know, he would come Makalame because you know he didn't have a license yet, so his parents didn't allow him to drive. So sometimes he'd come with a maxi taxi, you know, and just see me and ning ning, yo, my aunt is here. We have to go to Milky Lane. There was a Milky Lane.
A very different Zimbabwe, though.
Yeah, very, very British Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Not a rural one like now. Now I call it rural. It's so damaged. And
sad.
It's so sad. I mean, I was living on Samora Machel Avenue, which was the main road. It was like William Nicol.
Do you know that people are going to watch this and say, what? Sophie grew up in these streets?
Yeah. So we were living on Samora Machel Avenue on the main road. So anytime you're walking, everybody can see you, darling. The cars are passing. So I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, the sleeping part.
No.
The connection part.
Yes.
So, let's hotel, you run.
Oh, hell.
You're young and you're stupid
That's
and you
true.
don't know.
Yes.
You know, so
he asked me for this. I don't have it.
So that's why I say Rudo's father was my first, and he was, after being my first, he was also the guy who gave me a baby. And after that, that's when I obviously, after age 17, I started exploring and saying, oh, can't outside.
What did the family say? Why did the
They
family
offered
say?
me a home before. They wanted me to get married because people got married at age 16, 17 those
Okay.
days, yeah? Especially Zim because very cultured.
Yeah.
So they called me for a meeting and I thought, where's my grandmother here? Where's my mother here? But,
Jeez.
right? I'm pregnant 3 months probably. He has announced to the family that I'm pregnant. They say, oh, and I'm Sophia. Shakupa imba where was it again? I'll tell you. It was instead of Hyde Park. There's Borodale, which is Sandhurst, and then there's Hyde Park.
Okay,
so you
yes,
understand the
yes.
difference.
Yeah, I got
They
it.
said, we're going to give you a house in Hyde Park. Let's go show you.
What?
They put me in the car. They show me the house. It's got a pat-pat
So this
course.
was not shocking and what is this? No. They embraced every minute of this.
Absolutely. And this is a smart girl. So why not have her as our Moroka? She already works at our businesses. She knows the business. It's like Indian family.
Yes,
Think
yes.
Indian families,
Yeah.
how they bring in their makotis
That's
and
it.
everybody joins in the business. Yeah.
You become part of the system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was part of the system. So I was just shown my house now.
What?
Like the Indian families, how they rock it. So I was
Amazing.
given my house with a tennis court, with a pat-pat course, with a butler, with everything. I looked at the movie and then I remembered, whose am I?
What?
I'm God's child. I said,
Amazing.
no ways. He didn't-
Really?
I said, God didn't bring me here to be told, you can have all this and a Mercedes, but they will never be in your name. And I said, not in this lifetime.
Yeah. Hey? You were smart enough to realize what you were
I
getting
agreed
into.
to everything. And then I said, I need a favor. I need money. I need to tell my family that I'm going to have the baby here. The baby must have your surname. And if my mom has got enough money for the train, she'll come with me. But I'm already independent and I'm ready to get married to your son.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy. My uncle was coming to South Africa in his station wagon. I just asked for a lift. They gave me money, of course, thinking I'm going to go on a train or whatever.
Yeah.
The flights were there, but they were not like lifestyle.
No,
like
of
now.
course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went and I went in the car. He came to fetch me. So they were not home when he came to fetch me. So they probably thought that was an Uber or something. Or Maxi Taxi, whatever it was
Yes.
called, Road Roses Taxis or something. So he took me to Joburg, dropped me off at home. And then I called my mom, I called my dad, I called my grandmother.
Were they aware of your pregnancy?
No.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I told them. And I said, however, let me pledge this. As soon as I give birth to this child, I'm going to be the breadwinner in this house.
Yeah.
And that's how I became a breadwinner at home
Jeez.
from age 16. Yes.
So you never went back?
No.
No.
It was a plot.
Yes,
They were going to lock me up. How was I going to come back home?
They were going to give you.
They
the
know
good-
I
were
worked in
going
the
to-
shops, but I didn't steal. So they knew I wouldn't go to the till, take money and get on a
And
bus.
yes, yes.
They knew I feared God too much.
Yeah,
so they
to
knew
do
how
that.
So I had to just say, God, forgive me for, you know how you say, God, forgive me for this, but I got to do this. I said, I need this, but I'm going to ask them for money. Activate that money. And God made sure they gave me the money. So they gave me money and I came
And
home.
you
Some of that
left.
money, I used it at home for food, whatever. Because that lifestyle, ya mole, and home was two different worlds.
Yes, completely.
Go
eh?
high, nerenka kebichi, mo meriksa mo strateng.
Yeah.
You know, so there was no food.
And the transition now. Actually, let me ask this because now it's a movie now in my head. I'm
Yeah,
seeing
it's
this
amazing,
movie.
isn't it? Let's shoot it.
and then what? Didn't they then want to get their child or get you back?
No, so there was this guy. Oh my God, I won't mention his name because he now lives in South Africa.
Okay.
I liked. He also drove a Mercedes left hand. So, ha ke qabana le papa ga my daughter. I get jealous.
Yes.
Started dating. He was taller. He was a yellow bone. He was hot.
Where in Zim or
Yes, Zim.
Yes.
Before I left.
Okay,
Before
okay.
we announced we are pregnant, whatever.
Yes.
So this guy invited me to a party in some hotel. All parties were either in somebody's house or hotels or clubs. So it was at a hotel. So somebody told him, Sophie was at a hotel with so-and-so.
Uh-oh.
And so he thought, neketse room mo.
Oh, okay.
Ha tsebe hore neketseng but. Right? So somebody who knows him, another guy, that girl of yours, she was with this guy. So this guy, in their home, they were doing minerals, they were doing mining,
Jeez.
they were doing trucks.
Yeah.
And so I was actually connected to only the rich and famous there.
Of course, yeah.
And that's all I knew. After orphanage, I upgraded immensely.
Completely.
Completely.
I must admit, though, even the orphanage was quite an upgrade.
Yeah.
It's
It
not a
wasn't
bad
rural.
life. Not at all.
It was an upgrade from the cows.
Absolutely.
So in this family, what I learned, which I'd be forever thankful for, is the business. That's why I'm a businesswoman today.
Yeah.
They had a butchery. They had a floral shop.
Yeah.
You understand where wedding planning came
That's
from.
it.
They had a butchery. They had a bottle store. So I got to piano.
You know how to do it. 2 bottles.
Yeah, bo.
I don't know how to do that. I'm so
Yeah,
embarrassed.
so I do it all the time, and people are always like, "Are you sure you're a lady?" And I'm like, "We need to open the bottle, don't we?" So
Yes.
let's open it.
Yeah.
You know, so they had a supermarket. So they had kind of like 8 shops. So on a weekend, you'd rotate them.
Okay.
Friday, you'd go to this one. Saturday, you'd go to this one. So the old men were always fascinated with this eloquent child because they're from Kasi.
Yes.
I'm like, Grandpa, I'd call them Grandpa. Grandpa, so they loved it. Uncle, they loved it. Can you show me how to do this? So they would put their hands, mungchining of cutting meat, and my little hands would be inside, and then we would go.
We're pushing,
gamotion
yes.
of cutting meat.
Yeah.
So I would be in front, like maybe side view.
Yes. And then you'll be pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as the years went by, I started cutting it myself.
Of course.
So I could own a butchery today. I know about leg quarter, hind quarter,
Wow,
everything.
you've done it all, eh?
Yeah. That led to another business that I'll tell you about.
It's such an interesting movie that one would think Mofolo went to some high school and then became the Sophie we know today. And it's so amazing that there's so much story before all of this.
Too much. Like before you even get to Mofolo Avenue where she comes with a stomach, that she's pregnant, a lot happened because how did I know about banking and all of that in business? Because there's no machines swiping,
course,
right?
yeah.
So and then all the kids in the family count the money, got 10,000.
Of course, wow.
So I knew money. So when you're a
Yes.
guy and you come and you say, "Kito beches, hi, sure."
Like, you don't know my life.
You don't know my life. So here they are wanting home bitches like about 10,000 and then your car and the lights. You need to replace the globe. And they're like, but where does she know this from? And I'm like, I just know. I had brothers who've got cars. So
Yeah.
Can I go give a family?
Yes.
So Haba looks at the you are there on a Saturday, you're bored, you're seeing them fix cars because it's your day off.
That's incredible.
You know, so I learned so much just being there. So I learned farming as a small child. I learned doing the cows. I then
Yes.
went to this family. I learned business.
Yeah, money.
I learned money.
Money became a normal product in your life.
So by the time I got home and my mother told me, hey,
Hey.
ke nna fela ke golang pension. Actually, nkgono ke ena qelela nkgola pension 150.
What a different life.
And nna ke tlo kry-a ka very soon o tla my baby. No re etseng ka yona. And I'm like, mphe yona. And she says, what do you mean? I said, I'll multiply it. I know how to multiply.
I'll make a plan.
She says, multiply how? Get it. Do you trust me, Mama? I know I disappointed you by bringing a baby, but hell, we need to feed this baby. So I'm not going to sell my body for money. I'm going to work for it. So do you trust me? She says, yeah. I get a reply at 155 pension, yeah. So we lived on Nkhono's 155 for a long time.
Jeez.
For Rudo to eat porridge, Neki out clinicking to get her immunized. Ning ning ki ngwalo ka re ke ngwetse date wrong ke re I'm here. But right, date how ke next month ke re well ngwana ka tshwere ke tlala. And then they end up giving you those boxes.
Oh yes, of course.
Dinale mili dinale letswai
All
dinale
of that.
eng bona.
Those were the days.
Social responsibility, I know it like
Backwards.
backwards because I abused it.
Yes.
Because I could just smile and get what I want. And instead of going to men, I thought that was a better option.
Yeah.
It was the best option.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd get the best mealy meal, the best peanut butter, the best cooking oil, the best everything.
You know, now I'm trying to transition and I'm struggling as the interviewer. No, from from this Sophie to the one that we ended up seeing on TV.
Yeah.
I'm trying to connect this gap between Sophie, who was struggling through life, you know, going to the clinic and all of that. And when did the Sophie we ended up seeing on TV start?
It was easy. The minute my mother got her pension, because I was helping her apply and whatever, she got sick pension, not old age.
Yeah.
My father hadn't applied for his sick pension, so my mother was the first one to get it. Remember, my father struggled from kidney, right? So you obviously had to apply. And my dad was a smart guy, but was like, I'm not going to live off charity. I'm going to run my business.
Yeah, I went to roads.
And we were like, yeah. I went to the best schools, Mr. Best Schools. Where are you now? Feed us. You're not feeding us.
It's not easy though. Eh? I can imagine it wasn't easy for you.
Yeah. So my mother, when she got a pension, I started buying Sowetan. Looked at the back. TV promotions was posted there. So I first saw G3 models and I said, modeling, that's easy. I don't have to talk. So I started with modeling. I took my mother's money.
Why did you want a job you didn't have to talk?
Because I knew if I started talking, I'd excel, and I thought I'm too young. So I thought, let me just model because I know I'm pretty and I know I've got the right body. So my body was like I am now. So I went to G3 models. The people, Gaino, just loved how I speak.
Jeez, yeah.
You know, she was like, you're one of the first black girls who's eloquent. Where do you come from? Are you from somewhere in Africa, deep Africa? And I'd say, yeah, well, I've traveled Kenya. I knew she didn't know anything. But I've traveled Kenya, I've traveled wherever. I would just add.
Yeah.
But Zimbabwe was where I ended up.
Exactly.
And now I'm here. Wow. And you remember when Front Row was in Mnet?
Yeah, I remember. Yes.
I auditioned and I got the role for Front Row before Kanye. But they all looked at each other and said, she looks 12. I had a baby face.
She's a kid.
So I wore this wraparound dress that I bought from Edgar's. Those days, Edgar's was a hit.
Yes,
you know,
Sales House.
Yes. So I was wearing this Edgar's dress and it was looking amazing, and high heels. I loved high heels anyway.
And you're very young.
Yeah, so I was like 17. Come on.
Yeah.
So I went there and I looked 14.
Yeah.
So imagine being 17 and looking 14. But you've got makeup and everything. And then that's how they took Kanye.
Yes.
Eventually, there was somebody else that they put, and Kanye came maybe a year or two later, but I was so angry. She also has a baby
That's my
face.
job, yes.
Yeah, she also has a baby face.
Yes.
And she's, eloquent like me, yes.
That's
I agreed with her
amazing.
eloquence,
Yes.
because not many black girls then were very eloquent. So I thought, Oh, not just school and so sharp.
And you got the
International.
modeling gigs as well.
And then I then got the modeling gigs. Of course, I was doing a lot of print and TV ads, but Lemon Twist. I used to earn about 5,000, 10,000.
That's a lot of money in those days.
That's like 100,000 now,
Yes.
right? So at home, I promised them to be a breadwinner, and I became a breadwinner. But now the girls go conning. I'm walking to a taxi. They say, I had a nickname called Khoshi. Because now they don't understand
How
where
you
I get
making
money
money?
for clothes, why I'm always wearing a weave, why I'm always changing these weaves. Where do I get the money for these weaves?
Yeah.
You know, and I used to wear wigs when
there were wigs.
When there were wigs, not Zanu.
Yes.
There were wigs, and there were wigs for a reason. Like you'd be doing a photo shoot and they need red hair. You know, so I was already wearing red hair then. Because I just love fabulous
You were
things.
way ahead.
I was way ahead. I remember once Kikenamo texting, in my own world, of course, wigi isala lemunyako. Just remain behind. And
So you have those stories as well.
so I put the wig back on and these girls that have been saying Khoshi, they then eventually saw me on Generations. Yeah, was I excited. When Generations got 1993, 94 came out. Because I was already on Class of 92, all these others, but I don't think they were paying attention. When this soap, the biggest thing.
So you're saying the street girls, they were not paying attention. Or Muto Aspana.
Muto Aspana real job. Since I'm paying Mokhoshi.
Yeah.
I get happy. If it's shoot late, you sleep at a friend's house
That's
in Yeovil, and you come home after 2 days. Chores kwama so bana not boyfriending.
Hey.
So it used to be nice like that. And then eventually I bought a car, and they were like, Khoshi? I know I bereka these days. I know. You know.
Wow.
And then I remember entering Miss Soweto. And then the rules were you don't have a child. So we can come back. It's your child, your last born. I'm your second born, or whatever you want to say. My mom played along.
Wow,
So
and you entered.
I entered. I went to the top 5.
Yeah,
Top 5, yeah.
Listen to that.
Yeah. And when I got there, I'm telling you, that day. Nah. What would you do if you want Miss Soweto? Ebeki Emerson.
What answer did you give?
Nothing.
What? You froze?
I froze.
This eloquent Zimbabwean girl that knows so much English business.
I mean, darling,
and-
naked white trapagate dissected. They knew. Banking it is something banabale. They go up till today. I'm a child of God, ne? But there's devil and there's God. Baba onor and it was a car. Baba onor I wanna violate at this thing.
Oh, Astaka.
Bona, what would you do?
If you won? You can answer it in 100 different
And they
ways.
asked all 5 of us the same question.
So you knew it was coming.
Yeah, then there was a girl called Temim Klaivan. She then won.
She answered, obviously.
Oh, she was eloquent like me.
Yeah.
So it was either me or Tembi, by the way. And then the others, by leveling eloquence.
Yeah.
I'm sure they if they're listening, they must forgive me, but one of them did me wrong. What would you do if you won Mr. Soweto? I mean, Mr. SA, everything.
Oh, Astaka, man.
Astaka. Azankare if I.
Two.
Wow. So I believe there is a devil out there. Yeah.
Wow. And now, here's generations. You know, the thing about generation is it changed your life so much. But when you started, I'm sure you didn't know what was likely to happen, where you were getting yourself into. Do you remember when you got the call? Did you understand even then the size of what you were about to do?
I was a casting director by then.
Already?
Yes, I was like, 21, and I was a casting director at Cheryl Lynn's place. Alta Chameleon Casting.
Jeez. You were already... Yeah. No. She has more talent than just...
You know, Borolin Freeland I knew. They are casting directors, but Krista Schamberger. They were the seniors of the industry. I was just a little girl copying, emulating them. Remember, everything of mine I just copy because I didn't go to school for it. I had to just emulate, copy. So Habam Potar to come and be an assistant. In fact, come and be a receptionist. I said, good shot. I was a model, looking good. And when this guy was technical, I'd say, let me help. All the casting briefs came to my desk. Yeah. So I knew exactly how they work. We're looking for 20 girls for a music video. We're looking for 10 girls for a Coca-Cola TV ad. So I got all the briefs. Wow.
And you understood them. You knew what to do.
Absolutely. So when the one for generations came by, it says soap. New soap. I got but it works like by explaining it's like a drama because it was one of the first soaps, right? Yeah. But it's like a drama, so it's gonna play 3 to 4 times a week, and eventually, if it does well, it will be given 5 days a week.
Jeez, boy, was it given so many years?
Yeah. So but Queen Moroka, Karabo Moroka. Karabo Moroka is a lead. Queen Moroka is support. Whoever she is, I'm going. Yes. So I put other people up for the role, but then I also went. So on the day, Connie Ferguson was there. I was there. Yeah. Guess what? We're dressed like twins. What? I was wearing black leggings, black top, and a cerise pink coat. Yeah.
You were ready, eh?
Really identical twins. So she went to Edgar's where I buy my jackets because Edgar's used to have beautiful blazers. Yeah. So she bought the pink. I bought the pink. She used to like leggings anyway. Got the audition, Connie. She was not a let me dress up and wear high heels now. She would wear a tracksuit. She knew she was confident enough to get the role. Yes. Whatever role. But that day, when you know los apparings nice to ole o dilenka pretty tracksuit ki utlile ka boot and
she obviously leggings. Understood the role as
that
well.
That was big. I think her agent said Munin Lee I think was her agent. I'm sure
not this one.
You must dress up. Yeah. This is big. This is international.
Amazing.
You know how Munin Lee used to say this is international. This is big. You know. So she came, I came, I couldn't speak Sotho.
Oh,
I'm from Zim.
Yes, eh?
Didn't know a word of Sotho.
Yeah.
So I can take my message about South Africa. That's all I could do, right?
Yeah.
And then they said on the show there's going to be 3 language advisor, one for Xhosa, one for Zulu, and one for Sotho. So I said I'll go for the Sotho, but I was on payroll. So on the day, Frederick Stark, the late Frederick Stark, the producer, executive producer, is auditioning us with his wife. Mfundi's not there. Yeah. He's there, but he's not there. He's the boss.
Comes in when he feels like. Yeah.
So here we are in Braamfontein, long queue, we get our chance. They say to me, what languages do you speak? I said, all of them.
What?
I forgot because it was Shonali English. I got all of them. But I said, gonna say something. But
yeah, no. You can say anything. Yes.
I was like, you don't know anything, you? So I went in, I got shortlisted, audition. I said, for the purpose of for you to see if I'm good or not. Can I audition in English so that at least you get...
You
oh,
understand?
No. They say, no, by all means. I get one of them, can I speak?
Yeah.
Ka sin ele katla call back. For karabo.
Oh, yes.
Now,
for the big role.
Yeah, now Mfundi is there.
Yeah, of course.
I'm wearing these shorts with a blazer with heels. I am Nisara supermodel. Naomi Campbell.
Yes, of course.
Don't forget that. So Naomi Campbell, papaki apere to the nines. Huh?
Yeah.
I used to buy only Italian clothes.
Sure.
Yeah.
You haven't stopped, by the way.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no.
So I then arrived. Mfundi sitting there, and I'm rolling my eyes, thinking, Lord, but I must speak Sotho. What am I gonna do?
Yes.
So I went to Mfundi. I decided to be proactive. He's busy saying, next. Reduce more like you go doctor's rooms.
Of course.
I then go to Mfundi, I go to his ear. And I say, I've been shortlisted. I know I can't play Karabo. If you have a role that I can play where I can just speak English, I'd appreciate that. And then I can get a language advisor to help me. He says, what makes you think we picked you? And I said, I wouldn't be here if you didn't pick me. He says, but there are 100 other people. And I said, I'm not worried about them. They didn't have access to you like I do. I'm here now. Can you give me the role?
Wow, I think that's
and
what
I didn't know
got you
Queen.
the job. Yes.
I only knew Karabo.
Yeah.
I didn't target Karabo.
Of course.
But I was a casting person, so I knew the profiles. But Queen had 3 episodes, so I was not thinking that.
Queen was coming in and going.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, she was not part of the list
of
my conversation with him. So Queen was not even on my tongue.
Not at all.
So I get a call back. It comes in. I'm in the office. We've given Sophie Ndaba the part of Queen Moroka. Queen Sebube.
Yes.
What? Sebube? How many calls? I look, 3 calls. My boss said, no, man, it's exposure. Go. Don't be dramatic. And I said, okay, I'll go.
So that conversation helped.
Yes.
With Mfundi, yeah.
He also tells the story. He actually remembers the one where he was a payphone. That's not cell phone.
Yes.
Mfundi. Asobi.
No, it's
Singanga yet.
Yeah,
yet.
of course.
It only took him, I'm sure, 2 months or 3 months to be Singanga. He was a Singanga. I get payments are coming long, now.
Yes.
So he's at a ticket box, not my main road, more passaging SABC near the studios. Near Studio 567, there was a ticket box there. So I'm sure he's phoning his wife, whatever, and kids. Kamur. It's you again. Yes, I'm back.
I'm here.
My party of Queen is finishing next week. I'm not leaving.
What?
I said, I'm not leaving. He said, what do you mean you're not leaving? And I said, I didn't come this far to leave. It's either I become your assistant in the office, I become production coordinator, because I'm already know casting. I can help you I can be your assistant casting director, because I saw how you guys were doing it. You could have done it better. And then...
I like that. You criticizing the big boss.
And I'm so confident. So I think Onale taken aback by this confident child.
Yeah.
Because I was still under 21. So he was
you
like...
speak so, clearly about what you want. Yes.
He said, okay. And I said, you need to write me in.
Yeah.
Or I'm writing myself in your office.
Jeez. Either I get the job in front of the camera or behind the camera.
Because you could see I can talk. He's a writer, remember?
Yeah.
So he wrote this character, Queen, in. What? Queen now goes to work.
Yes.
Priscilla used to be Moroka's girlfriend. Priscilla was Ntombi's child. Ntombi was Masibobe's best friend, neighbors. So now this one is saying, emsebenzini kaloku badinga abantu abazophangela phi reception.
That's how the character became.
Wana ka tsamaya le ke tina ja go play that role. Tsamaya le ngwana ntombi. Ufihla mole o take over.
Uyophangela.
Ne? So abari yo mtshana mntana mhleli nje uhlele ekhaya maka that's Mfundi writing this now. Maka hamba yo sebenza lapha in New Horizons. That's how Queen went to
New Horizons.
And then she saw Tina Jaka's relationship with Moroka. And her name was what? Priscilla.
Yeah.
So she used to take tea for them. I can't remember, she's a receptionist. Yeah. So this is the CEO. So Tina atla mole wa mo brush. Go itwa so. Mfundi a ngwala. Are you comfortable to brush ka re ke tlo mo brush? As long as I strip.
Yes, girl, brush.
I got my brusha Achi, Queen ended up dating Achi very shortly, and then she went after Zakes because Zakes was gangster.
And that became an important part of the story.
Absolutely.
Because
she became the heart of the show.
Because you were disrupting, you were bringing in something that was unexpected in black society to be seen so publicly,
To be going into an office, closing it, locking it while Achi's on the desk, saying, what are you doing? She's wearing stockings and lingerie, and she takes off the jacket and she says, have me, I'm all yours. Ha, and then cut. So that's how we launched Queen.
Wow.
And then she goes to reception and she pretends to be so innocent. She does her nails. She started learning and reading magazine to learn how to do the eyelash.
Yes.
That's why she started saying, she quickly answers the phone. Yes. Have I say your ringer off the hook? She's busy. I think she doesn't even know what it is to be a receptionist. So eventually she learned etiquette and what Priscilla you need to have etiquette, you need to have this, you need to have this. The Karabo, she's the daughter of David Petwe.
Of course, yes.
Who is now the father of the house, and Moroka
himself. Yes, I remember with white beard. Yes.
So she then got favor with him, and and then Zakes comes, and Zakes is about to get married.
Oh hell!
And then she says, and then they say, yeah, Zakes a gangster, petty mali, ma safe in got money in the safe,
I must admit, and allow me to be rude, it sounds like a story that happened in Zimbabwe.
Yes, I get those up my alley, so I was like, yes, honey. But nearly for real because now it's drama, TV, and you're adding even more juice to it. And Frederick Stackensare, do more of your energy because the show was lacking energy, and he loved my energy. So he would come on set, watch me perform, and come to my ear and say, do more.
Yeah.
And I said, seriously? Yeah. He says, even when you say darling, don't just say darling. Say darling.
Yes.
Yes. That's how darling was a brand.
The character became,
Yes.
Wow. Were you aware of the size, well, you must have been, of the size of this character outside the show itself?
Because I remained being Sophie and humble and calm and ignorant, right?
Yes.
That's why I didn't even have Instagram. When people started having Instagram, I didn't even have followers because I didn't even have Instagram. I wasn't there to show anybody anything. I knew who I was. I knew I was a powerhouse. I knew when I walk into a room, people move. I was royalty. I was Queen Sophie.
Yes.
So I knew they move.
They pause and look.
Yes. Same difference.
Jeez.
I knew that.
But the thing about generations, I remember we spoke about this with a lot of people because I've been doing this radio thing for a while, and we said, you want to be famous, generations is the place to go.
You want to launch your career on television? Once you are there, you can never go back.
Yes, that's it. It becomes such a big thing.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's done for you. What the burden of fame, though, comes with it as well.
Yeah. That burden of fame, I remember my first headline. One of my boyfriends in Soweto had put a gun to my head. So it was headline that I'm hiding somewhere. And that was the first headline. But then people were not into social media. So it's only people that I grew up with will sometimes remind me and say, hey, Chami, I hope you're wrong, John. You're wrong, but Pella, Motoa, how best, you can't dump him. But they would have guns for no reason.
Yeah.
And a nice looking guy suddenly is taking a gun and you're like, gun? Why?
How did the story end up in the papers even?
People talk. I get a little and now you talk and you don't realize who you're talking to. You're just oblivious to everything. So it was just being ignorant and it just happened. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, here it is.
He even ended up in jail. He asked me to drop the charges. I dropped them because I thought this person wrong. I can drop a charge and then everybody nice best friends. Even up to today, we are best friends.
And now, going back to generations, it was a long. Your role was on for long.
For 21 years.
Imagine that.
Years, yes.
Jeez, it grew with you. You became.
That's my home.
Did you become the character?
The character.
Did you find yourself becoming?
I was. Remember, if you look at what you just said.
Yeah.
If you look at Zimbabwe, my personality, go getter. I know what I want. La 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 la.
Yes.
I'm strategic. I won't let you book me a hotel room and think you're gonna get away with it. I was very strategic.
Yeah.
How like
so.
I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted the fun element. So when you came to Queen, it was very easy to recreate her from the script. They gave me words. I turned them to life. There was no other character that existed like her ever, except Dynasty, John Collins.
Yes.
So I took John Collins's persona, even the way I walked and talked. I was bigger, of course, as years went by after my son. But before that, I was John Collins' size, right? They were making me suits like John Collins. My hairstyles were very similar.
Jeez.
So when I spoke, it was like, yes. So I had those tendencies. And people didn't know where I got them from. I studied her.
Yes.
I would take out DVDs and study her. Not DVDs, tapes.
Because where was John Collins at the time? Dallas or Dynasty?
Dynasty.
Yes.
She was the queen of Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, next not available. Those others. Sue Ellen.
Yes.
Sue Ellen was slow. I was not. Tamela and Crybaby.
You were going for last night.
I was going for the powerhouse woman
Yeah.
who was coming to take over, and that's how Queen managed to take over.
Jeez.
Because now I took a bit of Sophie's personality, I put a bit of John Collins and any other performer on screen at that time that emulated John Collins. I took that and I made it my own.
And you became
The heart of the show.
Yes, the Queen. Did Queen ever marry? Yeah, because it's Queen. It became Queen
She married
Moroka.
Zakes,
Yes,
remember?
it became Queen Moroka.
She wanted to be a Moroka, so she married Zakes the gangster.
So she can be Queen Moroka.
Yeah, but then her target was Charlotte the Emo Saving. So
She's
So
married.
Zakes was shot on, because he was a gangster, so he
Yeah.
was shot on our wedding day.
Yes.
Died in my arms. There's a picture in the newspaper front page. So Queen is now like a Moroka.
Yeah.
So now,
Moroka, and yet the husband is gone.
Zakes moved in, like the Indian family. Are
Yes,
you understanding
yes.
it? So Zakes has moved in with his bride, and then he's going to build her a house. So he dies on their wedding day. Therefore, Makoti is already moved in.
Yes.
So
You can't get rid of
I'm
it.
a
Moroka.
Queen Moroka. That's where the Moroka came from.
Jeez.
So everything birthed itself right there. So I called myself Queen Moroka. Why was I Moroka? Because I first loved Archie and then I loved Zakes.
So you became
Double
Moroka.
barrel.
Double barrel of the same surname. The growth of the character and appreciation by the production team and them wanting to see it continue over the years. Surely it's something that reassured you as a person, or what I do is also of value, right?
Absolutely. But you know, when you're in a show like that, there are other divas who also want a name.
Yeah.
So there used to be lots of fights, but not fights at me, because I couldn't. I was a peaceful person. So they would fight amongst themselves to be third or second in line. Remember, there was me and Connie.
Yeah.
And then there was the others.
Uh-huh.
So when the others came afterwards, because they came many years later,
True.
remember?
And they found you
Because
there.
what Priscilla remembers, left. So now we were the two.
Yeah.
The senior.
Yes,
You understand?
exactly.
So they're not there to compete with us. They
No,
know
no,
their
no.
place.
Yeah.
You can't compete with these two. You must find your own narrative there. So they then started, and it was just interesting to watch them fight against each other.
Yeah.
And I would have my favorites. Why? Because this person is a good performer. So how would I choose my favorites? Because production would ask me, who do you like? I like this one, Mufe lead. Why? Because
Jeez, you already had a voice in the story. Amazing.
I mean, there was even a girl who attempted to date a guy that I liked, and I said, "When I cloud delete," you know. So when you're young, when I was 20-something,
Yeah.
you are able to say things that when you're older, you're like, "Huh?
Did I say
Did I
that?
say that?"
Yes.
And you know, I didn't even mention it to them yet, and they said, "No, they don't like her." So she thought it was me. So I took the points, and I said, "Yes, you see the power. You see the power, I have."
power, yeah.
And I go, "Akuna power."
Next.
Next, Nikki Buafel.
You couldn't delete them.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Come on, it's not my
Yes,
show. It's not up to me. They'll ask me opinion, but not decision.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Gore motho le go strateng o jwang, ha le actor le yena na le attitude o jwang. So I say ba le bona ke re ke batho ba.
What opportunities did a role like that give you beyond the show itself? You know, I ask this question because I love what radio does for my life outside radio. I don't think about it much, but
I'm on radio too, but yeah, we'll talk.
yes. Sometimes, like today, I was recording a voice. I'm not much of a voice artist, but there are people who hear my voice so much on radio and they think I'm worthy of some scripts. And I go and record and walk away. And I listen to it. It's like, I wouldn't have done that.
But they like it, so
That's it. Yes. What opportunities has that role given you?
You know, when we were fighting for the top 16, fighting for salaries.
Yeah.
None gave a kapile fela shem.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. For 2% or 5%, I was neither there nor there. Let me tell you, because they would always say, "We're not lolly here. Future about feeling more." No, they never believed me. Nobody ever believed me. You know, I think Connie was the only one who knew what I earned, but everybody else didn't know, and she understood why I was not giving a damn. Because almost every second week I was emceeing.
Some gig.
Earning 30 grand, 50 grand. In a month, I've got 100 grand extra from just doing appearances. A month on top of my salary. Why would I want 5%?
Extra 5%. You're
for
good.
them to lock me up and I'm first call basis. I was first call basis but second call basis, if you know what I mean. So I got there somewhere because I got batla chelete ngat ba ntumela like yemokia.
Yes,
okay, I batla pay increase batla fa baba. No problem. Ke kopa le ntumela nke the appearance at least 2-3 a month. One day a week. No problem. That you can have that. You can have what I'm making until Pepco Group came.
Ooh. What
best
happened?
Price. I launched Best Prices and more.
Jeez.
You understand?
Yes.
I launched Capitec. So when they were coming and saying, you can do whatever you want, then they realized, how much is Pepco pay? Got 300K per quarter to 400K per quarter.
Yes.
Just for control. So 1.2 million a year minimum. Yes. And I'm with a straight face, look, I'm an actress, so I can put a straight face and get away with it. So I put a straight face and he was like, but you understand, your contract says part of the percentage must come to us. Got a bull crap.
Never.
Got to show me the column. On all the contracts I've signed. This is an SABC contract. It's not a Morula Pictures contract.
It is. Oh, you were signed to SABC, essentially.
But through them.
Of course.
They were hired production company. Because remember, SABC owned Generations.
Of course.
They didn't.
You were doing what we do.
Yeah.
Same contract as radio presenters.
Absolutely. Yeah. So even though Radio 2000 is employed,
it's an SABC.
But it's an SABC product.
Yeah.
So you do an SABC contract through 2000.
Yeah.
So I said, bullcrap, if you want to add that addendum, add it, but it's too late because it needs to have been signed same day as
that other contract.
So he was like, where do you learn all these things about addendum? God, I'm a woman. I do business.
Yeah.
I've been doing business for 10 years now. You can't tell me anything about anything. I know my rights. So I'm not giving you jack.
And you're getting none of this.
And I went to Mfundika Kokota Kokara Mushimano Bata Chelatak. And then I'm your daughter. Aria, Garasomlelo, can't touch my money.
Jeez.
Because I never said in negotiation, kids like battle increase. And to me, Lord kids and to give batlang. Why about la Katya? God is earning millions of generations. Oh, batla my 300,000.
What like percentage of your nothing?
Which is 30 grand if you want 10%.
Yeah.
What is he gonna do with 30 grand? Go buy his wife hair. So I was very direct with Mfundi, and he was like, no. Then they can't do that.
And now you are launching all these big brands. It's becoming a career for you. And you're clearly making a lot of money. What decisions are you making with this money? Because remember, we're talking about a child that came back from Zimbabwe, pregnant.
I got 150 rand.
Exactly.
Starting as a model.
Yes.
Then it opened doors for JB casting, where it was television production.
Yes.
Libo Chameleon casting. So I just got favor.
You just grew and grew and grew.
And grew and grew. And I think the most exciting thing was the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I lived with that family that was going to give me a pat house and everything.
Yeah.
But they taught me business. So I knew how to do flowers.
I
knew how to cook. So I started a catering business.
There you go.
So I get ekta.
Yes.
Right? I ended up buying land and building the house I live in now. Yes. So if you want to say what value came out of that.
There's a lot of value.
Yes. When did you start living here? I said 18 years ago. He says, no ways. I say, I built this house. I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So he didn't ask further. But what I'm trying to say is a lot of people think I just bought it.
Suddenly.
Now, last year, 2 years ago.
No.
I built it. It's still got the same tile from 18 years ago, same kitchen finish, same everything. So it's like an antique house.
Yes.
You know, yes, I've used it up with furniture, but it's still that antique house.
Yeah.
It's like your home.
And it's your house in every sense.
Yeah. So it's my home. So that if you want to understand value, that is what I did. I also renovated my parents' home, the one that where I was born in Mofolo, put a new roof, put new ceilings, put new doors, made it so different that even if Nkhonagatla is spoken, she's going to say, where am I? Nothing fancy, but you know how we extend houses,
Of course, yeah.
something like that. So that is what I used it for as the first point of call.
Yeah.
And then when I got into business, I started making mistakes, borrowing money against the house.
Ooh.
That's how I then got a bond on top of a bond.
Hey.
That was a bond that was not there.
Yes.
You created a bond.
The house was paid up. Now you've created a bond on top of it.
I started with 600,000 kaya kargwatla million yeah.
Hey.
I'm worthy pela
Yeah.
ke khona
It's
ke na
now.
banking now. Yeah. So those are the mistakes that we teach young people today about their finances, to know how to manage your finances, because when we grew up, holding $1 million was like, wow.
Jeez.
You know,
Life-changing.
Life-changing and all of that. And now it's wow, but to pay it back is like wow also. and the
It's a
chances,
bigger wow to pay it back.
you know, and when you realize, Jorge, what trouble are you in if you don't pay for that house is another big problem.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how I got to reinvest.
Yes, the reinvention. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I started my wedding planning business. That was also quite interesting. That's how that started.
I must admit, it got a lot of attention.
Oh, my
you know
weddings.
this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I posted something the other day that I'm back.
Yeah.
And I couldn't just post.
Of course.
You know, I couldn't just post. I posted something. And I said, what I'm going to post is things you have not seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sure about that.
Yeah.
Rompontong Uiwan.
Achunang do so.
Watching and do this. And it gets for about by 10.
Yeah.
Gotta watch me when I do for 500.
Yo.
I'm back with a bang. And, you know, and I'm taking my time. I'm not in no hurry. I've done it all. I've tried everything. You know, I've failed in a lot of things too. So I can gagara ele, you know, but I have failed and I've learned from my mistakes. And those mistakes have made me a better person today.
But what is life without failure? Because we learn our best lessons from those moments.
So I learned a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot about friendship, a lot about relationships, a lot about everything. And we don't stop learning. That's the thing. We think we stop learning. You don't.
Yeah. And when your contract with Generations ended, was it a mutual ending or was it a or you were saying, I'm done. I've done this.
I said I want
long.
to be there for 21 years and I was there for almost 22 years.
Yeah.
So my mission personally that I didn't share with anyone except me and my God was accomplished.
True.
So I was ready to bow down gracefully.
Yeah.
And my intention was to be a producer, and it just happened different to be a producer on the same show.
Yes.
But because of the relationship was now a bit shaky, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to now go on my own. The plan didn't end up as I imagined it. So I needed to go on my own and continue with my events business. And immediately I left there, everybody says, yeah, but what generations about we? Just to prove a point, I went and I bought a Porsche. I thought, just for control.
Yeah, I get telephones and like.
I was still a bit younger in mind.
Yeah, I like that.
So I was like, Porsche and get poster, but I didn't even have an Instagram account. Imagine. Everybody was trending over 1 million followers. Now I was 0 because I didn't even know what was. I didn't care what was Instagram. I thought I'm Instagram.
Yeah.
You know? And then later on, somebody was like, but for your business, you needed God. No. I didn't know. It was just a word, Instagram.
True.
And it was not as big as it is now. But other people were smart. They started years ago. So by the time I joined in, it was nothing.
Let's talk about the time when there were big negotiations, the salaries at the Generations. How tricky was that time for the environment, for the working environment?
It was not nice. You know, you had Sophie started this conversation.
Really?
Can I get some better? And now I would never hardly say anything because I had my vision and I had my plot and I had my money from weddings and whatever.
Exactly, from
So
MC gigs.
I didn't need their money. Their money was like 10% of what I was making in a month.
Jeez. So you were not part of that,
I
but you
was
were
begging for
watching
500,
this.
600, 700K sometimes a month.
What?
Then.
Yes.
And I was too naive to know how to save it.
Yes.
Nikki
Yes.
investor in this, kid record this, kids at this. Everything was cash.
Of course, yeah.
Fantastic. But imagine if I saved all that money.
Yeah. Or put it away in a way that it would make itself bigger and bigger.
I was not there. We're not taught that growing up.
Yeah.
Remember, I was with that feminine.
Lebala.
So why would I think of a bank?
Yeah, that's
Tjhelete
true.
ka ne dula. My kids, when they come to my safe, when they got the pin,
Jeez.
it was Christmas, and my son would come, Mama, they know your pin. Really?
You have to change the number.
And then they would come and shout at him, yeah, why not you say mago? Pin code or sell. And that scream at him, but he would be like, I'm protecting my mom. And he's 10 years old or 8 years old. And he's like, I'm protecting my mom, guys.
Amazing.
You know?
Because that time had a huge effect on what generation became after that. You know, a lot of people lost careers. And whether right or wrong, some people never recovered from that moment.
Some people never recovered. Some people didn't have something to fall back on for a while. I mean, a year without work is not good. It's not easy.
Do you think it was naive of them to have such an aggressive fight with no proper base? And I say, look,
There was base. There was
yes.
base in that. And make no mistake, Generations was making money.
Yeah.
We had a little insight on what they made a year.
Okay.
400 million or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were like, hell no.
We need a part of
Let's
that.
do a budget. Okgolwa writes a list. Salaries only is like 2 million, 3 million,
Yes.
5 million, 10 million. What happens to the rest of the money? What? Production, chairs, cameras.
Yes,
no.
you know,
So
walls.
Yes. Shares. So that's where we may have gone out of hand. But we never said it to them. It was just hop up, fella.
Yes, yes.
And most of the meetings, yes, were had at my house.
you were like
Winnie Mandela. Amandla. Yeah, I was there and I meant it. And I said to Mfundi and I said, Papa, people are not getting their worth. You must remember, not everybody's me.
Yeah.
Not everybody can afford what I can afford. Look at my house. Look at how I live.
And not everybody's is corny as well.
Some of them came to my house for the first time. I was one of the only actors who had a home that I owned at that level.
Yeah.
A house that big, you know, and I was the host and I didn't need them to gazata the 20 rand so that we can have lunch at my house. I'd say, I'll host you. I was dramatic like that, you know, and Mfundi says, and you know very well, or when you've got something to fall back on, they don't. And I said, no. Why Friedrich Asabafidi 10%?
At least.
Or 5%, 3%, 2%.
Yeah.
It's an insult on a person who earns 10,000 a week. It's an insult, you know. And I said, what is 10,000 a week? What, 2,000 extra? You know, that's 10%. That's all they're asking for. They're not asking for 100,000 extra.
No.
Just 2,000 extra. And I said, come on.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. It's going to stay as it is and take it or leave it. My people. Loved him.
He sat on that very chair not so long ago.
Really? Love him. The energy. He's just a realist according to his own movie and narrative, and he doesn't care what anybody says. And that's what we loved about him.
Yeah.
But because he loved us, we created a lot of enemies in SABC because they're like, Batu Bahai.
That.
We were never Batu Bahai. We just needed a shoulder to lean on.
And he was that shoulder when you needed it. Yeah. And now the big decision to say we're stopping this generation thing, surely that must have been painful for a lot of people.
For me, it was my home.
Yes.
It was like my mother saying, go.
Yo.
And actually,
Grow up and go.
And
Yeah.
your mother saying go is one thing.
Jeez.
You're no longer welcome because of the man you're marrying.
Ooh.
That's deep.
Yeah.
So that's how it felt for me. Because that was my home. That's the only... I was 17, 18 when I started there.
Jeez.
Why would you think I would be excited to leave?
No,
Even though
never.
I put my target. There's a target I just put to say... You know?
They get written in and written out.
Yeah. And I'm still here. Still standing. The last man standing. So I was indeed the last man standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you immediately think of getting other acting roles?
No, I was tired.
Okay.
21 years, 22 years of 6 a.m.
Every
5
day.
a.m. call time on the same soap. Come on. Surely I needed a break.
Yeah.
So I wanted time to see my clients more.
Yeah.
My wedding clients to
wake up at 9.
To wake up at 9. I mean, you on radio, you know
I
this.
know
4
the pain,
a.m.
yes.
sometimes, call time. To just leave your house to be there for 6 a.m.
Yeah.
for the morning drive or whatever. So for me, it was all of that. I just needed to rest.
Yeah.
I said, I want 3 years rest. That's what I said to people when they asked me, do you want, so even people who thought, we can't typecast like another thing.
Oh, yes,
you can't be anything else but queen.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'm not bothered that you're not hiring me. I'm not bothered. I've got my events business and I've got me to take care of, so I'm cool. So when I started getting busy with weddings, that's when I started drinking a lot of sugar, and that's what activated my diabetes.
That's where it all happened.
Yeah. The sugar, the energy drinks, the Lucozades.
That's my life.
Very dangerous.
Ooh,
very dangerous.
That's my life. Lucozade.
Lucozade is one of the most dangerous ones. That's what activated my diabetes.
Okay, let me drink water.
Beautiful drink.
Let me drink
Even
water.
up to today, I still sip it. When somebody's holding, I say, can I taste? And I sip it because I just love it so much.
Do you know how much of that I drink?
A day. I used to drink 3 a day. And not the small bottle, the big bottle. The orange version.
Even today, before I started with this, I realized I'm exhausted because I sleep very little.
Yeah.
And I always say God has given me a lot, but He didn't give me sleep.
In time,
Yeah, so I sleep very little. As a result, I need it to help me out in these moments. I'm very aware of the sugar, but for some reason, I choose to drink it all the same. So I think this story is going to change my life forever.
Forever. That's why I said, when you said cooking show, I said, yes, it's not about the cooking show. I'm going to have a recipe book. I'm going to have a cooking show. But more than that, I'm going to have conversations about food.
Yeah.
Let's talk food.
Because we don't really know it, eh? We don't know the right
Let's talk
food.
what we're putting into our body, but make it fun.
Yeah.
And make you realize what will happen to you if you don't stop.
When are we starting? Come on now.
We're starting. You're gonna be part of it. You're gonna activate me as a fellow brother in the industry to say, Bona Sofla, you said you're gonna do this. I'm behind you. I'm your first sponsor. What do I sponsor? And then we evaluate what you sponsor, but somewhere you must be in it.
Let's do it.
Because
eh?
I'm telling you, we need to change lives. We are at the age where we're not old, but we're at the age where a lot of these other little things don't really matter. I go to a party and sometimes I'm so bored.
Yeah.
And I'm a party planner.
None of this is interesting.
Yeah, and I'm seeing people. I was at Sean's house last week, Sean in Pisana, and she said, "Oh, Sofla, ufuna champagne." Like, Coke Zero.
The one with the black mark.
Yeah. Then there comes the sister, Sofla, because we used to go clubbing and partying in Durban, and we used to sleep at 5 a.m. and see the sunrise at somebody's penthouse, and it was normal
And that's how they remember you.
Yeah, that's how they remember me, and they're thinking I'm still there now that I'm getting better with my diabetes. Surely I'm getting stronger. Surely I'm partying now. So they were like, "How about shampoo?" No. And if you look at her wall, every part of the wall has got champagne. Any wall, Dom Perignon, Cristal. You think about it, it's the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades,
Wow.
And she's like, just go choose, my sister, whichever one you want. And I'm like, no thanks, I just want Coke and water.
Amazing.
So when you get to that point where you put a champagne, there's a champagne in my fridge as we speak. I do mimosa with it on a Saturday morning maybe.
Yes.
And I sit in my patio and I have my mimosa and I think about life.
And that's just once in a while.
And that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
How many people who are wealthy or drinking champagne every day get to have a moment with just one glass, not a bottle. One glass mimosa, fruit salad after that, a boiled egg, and salmon.
And that's it, yes.
And that's life.
So having diabetes has changed, obviously, your life completely.
I was driving this morning and I was looking for a kawaii. And I couldn't find it. So I went to my meeting, finished my meeting, went to a gym and say, can I have access? I don't gym here anymore. I can't gym. I walk. So I don't gym anymore now these days.
Yeah.
So I walked in and I bought my lunch. And that's what I used to eat. And I'm thinking, this is the life. Fresh vegetables, brown rice, beans. And I thought Kauai is my new best place because I'd make it myself. But sometimes I'm just so tired of making food because you can't buy it.
No.
So now I thought, I forgot about Kauai. I'm not advertising Kauai, but I'm just saying, hooray. anything to do with health, I will promote it even for free.
Yeah.
Because we're saving lives.
That's
why
true.
I'll promote it even for free. Because those are the foods that are saving lives, yeah.
Because when you were the Sophie Ndaba that everybody fell in love with on Generations, your body size was very different. And
we called me Ntofonto, a full figure.
you see what I mean?
Girl, yes.
And obviously that you know for sure that was a lifestyle issue.
I knew.
Yeah.
I knew because when I gave birth to Rudo, I was the size, my current size. When I was pregnant with Lwandle, I was slightly bigger, of course, but I was slim.
Yes.
And then suddenly, after a second baby, I just blew up.
Yeah.
And I was happy. You know, when you're happy, you can go kabutung pantry, you eat at midnight.
Yeah.
You know, I was happily married, happy, having stress some severity. So when I come from a meeting at 10 p.m., with the client saying I'm cutting the budget by 30%. 30% was a lot on a 5 million budget.
Of course, yes.
You think, oh, that's 1 million gone. No, 1.5 million gone.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yes.
So can I fridge shapa ice cream shapa tin roof with latela kwa shapa the cheese kelsey. It's all there.
Yeah.
You know, the Romani creams papa.
And aware that it's wrong, but you just carried on.
No, but it was not about the weight. It was about I'm not happy.
Yeah.
There's something happening. I'm not happy. The contract was not signed. I'm still waiting to sign the contract. You know, I was on that tip, and eventually diabetes caught up with me. One day I'm just walking in a mall. I can't see the signage, and I remembered my parents have diabetes. Let me go to this camp. So I went to this camp, bought a tester, tested myself, and voila, I was positive of diabetes.
Yes.
And then the levels were too high. They were in 20-something, which meant I could go into a coma anytime. That day, I had eaten 6 oranges, plus a Lucozade.
Yeah.
Because it was a hot day.
Let me have water.
No water.
Let me have water.
Almost at collapse stage, checked myself into emergency room by myself, and the rest was history. The doctor said, you need to forget bread, you need to forget pap, you need to forget stamp. I'm listening to this guy and I'm like, what? You need to forget. Then he brings a dietitian. She comes and tells me that nonsense as well. I'm listening to it.
Like, oh, it's
and
nonsense.
then when I was discharged, I went to Life Restaurant because it's the healthiest restaurant according to me at the time. And then I started looking at people like they were foreigners because now all I see is salads there. And I'm thinking, but where's the pap? Where's the rice?
Where's the meat? Where's all of that?
Yeah. So I couldn't do that anymore.
Wow.
And, you know...
And you've stayed on that straight and narrow.
No, I cheat a lot. It affects me a lot. So that's my biggest fight right now, you know. At some point, I went into my own depression and I stopped eating. I stopped drinking. I had diabetes, of course. I lost half of myself.
Jeez.
And by the time I woke up from this depression, Sophie was gone. You know, Sofla was there.
Yeah.
And it was like, how do we restore Sofla? And the sugar levels were here and not coming down. Here and when they're here, anything you eat, it's like mutonaleng fast metabolism. You lose weight.
Yeah.
When it's here, you lose weight. So the minute it starts coming down, you start containing the food in your body.
Yeah. You start looking okay again, so to speak.
So now, in a period of 6 months, I've gained 10 kilos. And 10 kilos for me is like, wow. For somebody else, it's like, yes, it's a man. And I'm like, it's a man. You don't know where I was, actually. You don't know what I went through to even get this 10 kilos. I had to stay home for 3 months and not go anywhere, so I don't go to restaurants. I don't see anything.
You don't have temptation. Jeez.
You know, so now I cheat, and then when I cheat, you feel the headaches, you feel the pain in the body, you stop. So it's still a long way to go, you know, and if I was a bigger woman, I think it would be easier to go on a plant-based diet, because a plant-based diet, what it does, it reverses diabetes, but it reverses diabetes, but it also deals with your body, because remember, body fat is another key that brings diabetes.
That's true.
So I don't have body fat anymore.
Yeah.
So now, what am I eating at? The skin, the flesh.
Jeez.
So as much as I know I need to go on, it's like I need to go away for 3 months, go on this plant-based diet, not be around Joburg, be like in the rural area somewhere, Durban, wherever.
Well, there's no Uber Eats.
There's no Uber Eats, and be on a plant-based diet and lose more weight.
Yeah.
And not be around people because I'm going to lose weight with the plant-based diet,
True.
but I will reverse my diabetes.
Yeah.
So it's a commitment I need to make.
Okay, well,
Maybe for 2022, it has to be my project.
I like how you know that you have to do it. So we wait for you to do it.
Absolutely, but I have to
Yes.
do it because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm risking my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if, we live in a society of batubatlaring. What have people said about your loss of weight? Because we say when they gain weight, they're happy. When they lose weight, something is wrong.
Yeah, but I looked bad and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I remember going to an interview at 5FM with Tabuti, and they said, let's take pictures. And I said, yes. And I was the first one to even sit on the chair for the picture.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the picture, it was trending the next day. It was the scariest picture. And I asked myself, how in the world did they get to post that picture when they can see how I look?
Yeah.
Surely they should have said, Nchana, no.
They're probably
Oblivious.
Yes.
Like they were,
and
they
you
were
were also oblivious to
all of
this.
us,
Yeah.
all of us, and I learned from that from now on, be careful what you
Yeah.
expose yourself to.
True.
Be careful where you go, who you do it with, because it always has repercussions because of who you are. You
Yeah.
can't take away who you are. You're one of the chosen few by God to be up there as an ambassador for His kingdom, and you have to go through stuff. You have to go through the beatings like Jesus did. And when I get my beatings, I have an understanding that it's part of my journey, it's part of my purpose.
That's it.
My purpose-filled life. What is my
Yeah.
purpose-filled life? The show I'm going to do to teach people how to eat.
Yeah.
I had to be diabetic to be able to teach.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to be divorced to be able to teach people about marriage and principles, what you should allow, what you shouldn't allow. When I talk to women and say, don't allow, I'm not talking because I don't know, I know.
Yes, you've been there.
I've seen it. I've seen the storms. I've seen the love that's not love.
That looks like love.
That looks like it, but
Yes.
it's not. So now I'm wiser, and I'm at that place where it's exciting because I'm able to now advise people with confidence.
Your belief, when you walked in before we switched on the cameras, we spoke about love, but romantic love, marriage love, and you said you believe in it. I want to hear your advice to a David that's married and going through a challenge in a challenging
Marriage relationship.
Yes. What are some of your almost immediate pointers to say, look, this is what this is what you're going through, without giving any detail to any particular story?
Come as you are.
Yeah.
Because whoever loves you needs to love you as you are. I think we spend a lot of time changing ourselves for other people. Because initially we think they love us and we love them back. And then the minute you feel like they're moving away, you panic.
Yeah.
And then you start being what they want you to be and not teaching them who are you and continuing to remind them, this is me. Ha ke kenye makeup a ke le montlong.
Next. Yeah.
Ha ke kenye di eyelash. You understand? Ha ke kenye wig ke a e tlosesa le ka di cornrow.
Yes.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Because now wig ya chesa go chesa bosigo.
So sharp.
It's hot.
Yes.
Take off the damn wig. He must love you as you are. She must love you as you are.
Yeah.
Now you as a guy, you have to, wear labels because utotungwanyana di label. Marry a girl who's not interested in labels if that's not your type of woman. That's because what I chomidere Jezebel oli.
So come as you are.
Lerato is fabulous. He got Lerato. Wow. He actually married Lerato. Wow.
That's big.
But after the marriage, after the wedding, the marriage begins, and you're stuck with Lerato in that house. Your friends that were commenting on a wow are not there. And you now have to feed Lerato. And Lerato is not at your level because you have to lie to please Lerato all the time.
Yeah.
You're selling a tire here, you're selling a car here, you're selling anything just to make Lerato happy.
To pay.
So my advice to David out there,
Yeah.
the king, David, is be your own king.
Yeah.
Present yourself as the king that you are. And any woman who loves you, or any man who loves you as a Queen Sophie, must accept you as you are.
True.
Nna ke robala ka tuku, papa.
Yes.
And I nchisa ke a e tlosa. Ke latlhela kwa.
So kopana le sona mara bosiu. How in Sheba?
Yeah.
That's me.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. One I can guarantee you that I'll brush my teeth. I can guarantee you that. But anything else, I'll bust and I'll brush my teeth.
Yes.
Anything else, you can't ask me.
Nuh-uh.
You can't demand me. You can demand those. Brush your teeth, bath twice a day at
Yes.
least as a woman. Yeah. Those I'll do. The rest, I don't gig.
What are some of the most common challenges you've had women tell you about their marriages? Because we live in a time of lack of money, the expectations from society, pressure we put on ourselves, and so forth and so forth. What are young women saying lately?
Young women are forced to stay home and not work, abused mentally, emotionally. That's why GBV is such a big thing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It was never there. It was there, but it was not so big. Now it's like a temple, it's like times 10 what it was.
Yeah.
Why? Because these girls, they dance around. He says, long makes her a wife, but she's not wife material. In fact, she's not even ready. Let's just start there. So even I told my kids, because none of my kids are getting married under 30.
Yeah.
Why? You're not ready. I don't care who you're dating. I don't care how anxious you are. You are even 35. It's actually for men 35, for ladies 30. Why? Because you still have to make children and all of that. So we need to get you healthy, right?
True.
But it's just a bad thing. It's just a bad thing. So so my advice is to even the ladies: choose a man that goes hand in glove with your future vision. Because we tend to choose into Zamanj.
Yes.
And
so we don't look there. We're here.
Yeah.
He's taking me to Conca this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and we're packing posh.
Remember when we were married?
Yeah.
You're no longer going to take me to Conca. And then you're going to, So these girls, they then end up even cheating in their marriages. You find the guy's got 2 kids, but they're not even his.
Yo.
So she's not even paying attention. So he doesn't even know she went out last night because I'm a gauge. Or if it's like about 2 a.m., na kitla fitla ka 12 or ka 1.
So you competition.
Yeah. And it's young girls. What can you do? Even older women who are into it, do it. They end up having extramarital affairs, which is one of the big things that they talk about. There was a lady asking me the other day, just this Sunday actually, we're at a party, and she said to me, Sophie, please tell me, I'm breastfeeding. I'm no longer really interested in sex. What do I do? I felt like an agony aunt. But I thought, let me answer. She's young. She's in her late 20s and she's married with 2 kids. And at 28, 27, you should be at your peak of intimacy with your partner. And I said to her, it's a child.
Yeah.
You're not the problem. The problem is the child. She says, what do you mean? And I said, take the child away to your mother for a week.
Yeah.
You're not breastfeeding. She said, no. You miss your child, you cry. Take your child for a week. Make sure your man's diary is not busy. See what's going to happen to your marriage.
Yes.
Once a month, do that for a weekend. Your marriage will never be the same.
That's a business for you, though. I don't know if you thought about that.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah. There's something everywhere. Even in the meat cutting.
You're right. There's something everywhere.
There's something everywhere.
Because I think it's I think your marriage life has been such an interesting roller coaster that you have a body of knowledge that can be shared so many times.
You don't see them coming, the narcissist. You do not see them coming. You will not see them coming. I don't care who you are. Don't fool yourself and blame yourself and kick yourself. You will not see them coming. Finish.
Yes,
These are the masters of charm.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter which country you're from.
Yes, build as women. Yes.
And these guys, they don't even need flowers to charm you. Baroque.
Yeah.
You understand? And I tell a lot of girls who, there's a girl I think Dumi was interviewing, and she said she had a boyfriend, a fiance was a narcissist, and Nali West Namushapa, all these things.
Ooh.
And she's young and she's a beauty queen. And I actually looked at that story and I said, there's so many girls, so many women, so many grown women that have been through that, that don't know. You need to open your eyes and pay attention. They say, hey, it's your duty. You must know his diary. Baby, today what's your diary like? You understand?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm in studio, baby, all day, and then tonight is dinner with the guys. Cool. That's diary done.
Yes, yeah.
No complication. But the minute your man walks out or your woman walks out and you know nothing, you are. The Bible says you and your woman shall leave your mother and father and cleave to one another. What is cleaving? Cleaving ke control.
Yeah.
Cleaving ke mfazi wami lo.
It's not that.
Sukuma mngambakubona. Finish.
Jeez.
No. Cleaving is yes.
It's doing this together.
Yeah. Are we going to build a house? What are we going to do? The minute you say we're getting married as engaged couples, you must already know that's going to happen. Even if you get married out of a community of property with accrual, you need to know what does accrual mean? Yeah? What does it mean to you?
It's cruel.
Yeah, how about it?
Yeah.
But not cruel, cruel. How about it's even worse than cruel? It's cruel.
Yeah.
You know, because it looks like nothing, but it's something big, depending on where you're going to end up.
That's
Do you see yourself being a domestic worker all your life? Do you see yourself being a receptionist, a policeman? Or do you see yourself being a CEO of your own empire?
Yeah.
And if you're seeing yourself as an empire,
Cruel.
yeah. When you're that. You know, so as much as marriage contracts are important, you must not just think of the moment in the marriage contract. Think about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. What's going to happen?
You believe in the institution of marriage with all your life experience.
Love it. I would do it again.
And
I am
again.
going to do it again.
Hey, Marshall.
Yeah, Banshela, mara I get body nyana still.
Yeah,
So
that is still.
yeah,
Bambora.
Bambora generally the male species. So Bambora because ha ke santse ke re ke mo fa chance motho se ke bona di tendencies tsa all se ke bona where this movie is gonna end.
Hey,
Bored.
yes.
So there was a time I stayed alone for like 7 months, not even answering anybody who says anything.
Yeah.
And it was not a lonely place. I was just with my God, and I needed that for my weight, for my life, for my business, for my strategy. I'm still gonna do it again.
Yes.
Because I think I don't lose anything. In fact, I gained so much more. I was more at peace. I was gaining weight faster alone.
Yes, than with this marriage.
These distractions.
Yes.
Hi, let's do lunch. Hi, how many lunches are you gonna do? You understand? So, okay, bored. I'm still bored.
Yeah.
But I definitely believe in love.
Yeah.
I definitely believe in forever after, and I definitely believe God said men shall not live alone. You know. And we say bone of my bone, rib of my rib. I'm looking for
You
rib of my
believe
rib. And I'll
in
not
those.
stop. Even if I'm 70, I'll still be looking.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's how we were meant to live. And that's how in eternity we are going to live. We're going to live a life of joy, peace, and harmony, and just love as the key word.
So you still find a lot of value in this institution. And you look back at your marriages and you still found value in some of them, even if they didn't work.
You know, I was thinking the other day, there's a guy that I met in my single life. He was going through a divorce. We didn't date because of that. I just didn't believe in dating a married man.
Yeah.
I said, divorce or not, can't date you. Went on with my own crazy stuff, dated other people. When I got into wanting to get divorced, I met him in a restaurant and he said, and then I thought, I want this one. Ne? Come a pointer. You've come back.
Yes.
His hands are under the table. I want this one. Sure. Sophie, what are you saying? And I said, I have looked and thought about any guy I would take back. You're the only one.
Wow.
And he had his hand under the table. Then eventually he went like this. My heart.
Oh, no.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
Why am I saying this? I'm saying in a lifetime, there are people that you're going to meet that maybe they are also bad news. Don't ever be illuded to think, bad news.
Yes.
Maybe they're bad news. You just didn't get a chance because I guess the relationship didn't happen.
True.
The way it should have because
You never
of
got to
that.
see that.
The other side.
Yeah.
I just saw the gentle side. The
True.
side where, I want to go to a party. Okay, I'll drop you off and pick you up.
True.
The side that I'm like, yes, that guy will pick me up. You know?
Do you guys like that? I didn't realize
We
that.
love it.
Really?
Yo, yeah, we love it. But if ngwanyana le promise ke unglanda why?
Yeah.
Since when England? Yeah, feta somewhere one later one time.
I've dropped off and picked up. That's why I wondered if it's a good thing. So I wasn't sure.
No.
if it
It's a
works.
wonderful. But how drop off?
Yeah.
Or fella have fun. What time should I collect you?
Yes.
I'll call you an hour before the time
Sure.
so that you can be free with your friends. Go check. Then 30 minutes before, are you ready? No, can I have more time? Okay, how much time do you need?
Cool.
I'm cool. I'm watching DSTV. What?
Yes.
I'm watching Animal Channel.
Yes. Netflix. What are Netflix?
Yeah. And Oshabila Animal Channel.
There you go.
What DSTV? Looking at lions eating each other, and you're waiting to fetch your woman, and she just loves that about you. So that's what I loved about that guy. Animal Channel, news, what.
Easy going.
Easy going. Should I fetch you?
Yeah.
Let's not cook today. Let me help you cook. So I get to know it's years ago.
Of course.
So creme memchan. So now until So what I'm saying is that you're not always going to get what you want.
No.
You need to settle, but you don't sell yourself. You don't sell your soul.
Yeah.
Prematurely or otherwise. When you see it, run. Red flags are real. They're not yellow flags. Don't fool yourself into red flag yellow. I saw yellow and I never be very yellow.
Yeah.
It will always be red.
It can't change.
It won't change.
Your son wrote a song. I want you to comment as much as you want about it. It became a very popular song. It trended for days.
For days. It's, yeah.
What do you have to say?
He's even been
about
sued for it.
Yes.
What do I have to say about it?
Whatever you want.
As a mother,
Yeah.
I made no comment on it as support for my son, for his pain. There's no child, David, who can write a song like that and it's fake.
Yeah. They have no reason to.
Yeah. My son was there when I had my stroke. It was lockdown. He massaged my stroke. What happened in the stroke is another story for another day.
Jeez.
But he was there when I got channel and you find your right side completely collapsed.
Wow.
And he's the first person I called because it's just the two of us in the house. Actually, the three of us with other people. And he comes and he almost carries me to the bedroom. And he says, "What do you need? What's wrong?" And I said, "I just had a stroke." And he said, "What do I need?" And I said, "Let me Google a little bit on what I need to do because I'm not going to hospital." It said physio.
Yeah.
Lots of water. This, that. He was in my room 3 times a day, massaging his own mother's leg, thigh, hand, face, ear.
Wow.
Do you understand? For over probably a month. Jeez. Until I came back naturally. I remember I was shooting Family Secrets at the time. And they said, you need to cut. Actually, you need to wear heels. I said, no, man, she's in a kitchen.
You don't see the heels.
The heels, I was not going to be able to walk in them. The right foot was 50% there. So they said, cut carrots whilst you're watching TV. And I said, no. Make them already cut. I'll put them into the bowl. So I'm changing the setting of the director. And he's not picking up.
You have challenges.
I have challenges. And I got a panic. People around me panic a lot. So I learned, I must stop making people panic because then they think I'm dying.
Yes.
So I thought, after the show is ended, rap.
Or actually...
Yeah, so I only told them after rap that I had a stroke. So... whatever my son thinks, he's going through therapy now. But whatever he thinks and whatever, I didn't know he was exposed to so much.
Yeah. Because as parents, you don't see the world through their eyes. You're not aware what they're seeing.
But what I can tell you is that now, when everybody called me, including media and everybody, and they said, what's your comment? I said, no comment.
Yeah.
That's his story.
Let him tell his story.
Yeah. I'm just picking 1 or 2 things where I'm saying, when people say, is it authentic?
Yeah, of course they would.
As a mother,
that.
I'll say definitely 100% authentic.
Yes.
Why? Because my son wouldn't. There's sons, and then there's sons.
Yeah.
That is a very respectful child.
Yeah.
And it was not intended for disrespect, in my opinion. Other people can beg to differ and say, that's their opinion, and I don't care for it. I care for my opinion. My opinion is that my son saw everything, went through everything, experienced everything, and he's got every right to babang they hang themselves. Babang they're going to drugs. He chose the song.
Yeah. Did you?
And I'm not condoning the song.
Yeah.
I'm saying he could have just called us and spoke to us. Maybe. He could have talked to me about it. Maybe. He could have said, "Mom, I'm still stressing about this." Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could have advised if he didn't come to me.
Yeah. He went ahead and did his thing.
He was himself surprised that it's out because he sent it to 2-3 people and one of them exposed it.
Do you find that maybe as a parent you exposed him to too much without realizing?
That's the message I'm teaching women now.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking to women, I'm talking about, you know, hanebare, oh, protect bana skona tso jola jola mo pela bona. I'm a married woman. Jola king, you know, I'm a married woman. So ha gona le boroto ka botoro fela in the house. I cannot hide it from my kids that there's only butter and
True.
boroto. We are going to eat butter and boroto and mai.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the life I lived with my son. And he knew my truth. He knew mommy's got money, mommy doesn't have money. Mommy doesn't have this, mommy has got this. Mommy doesn't have this. So when he saw his mother losing everything,
Yeah.
almost everything, in this case, almost counts.
Jeez.
You know, there's a song that says almost
That's
doesn't
true.
count.
It does.
In this case, almost counts
Yes.
because, you know, the Bible says, just when you thought you buried me, my little finger popped up and karonyel. Because I am, we can rub that out, but
Yes. No,
that's the sort.
Yes. I'm
You know,
still here.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going anywhere. And my son, I think, for a long period of time was worried if I'm going anywhere because everybody kept calling him at school, your mom is dead. And then he would have to phone his sisters,
Jeez.
drive home, find his mother's alive. Because maybe I decided to switch off my phone that day.
Yeah.
So my phone is off, therefore he can't reach me. Auntie's busy cleaning outside. Her phone is ringing off the hook. She doesn't even know my son is calling because he's just heard on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or my mother's dead.
Wow.
So he went through all that. Before all the experiences, he also went through all that. So he's carrying a lot that we still don't know. There's more that we don't know.
And
all
that's-
of us.
And as you put it, it's the lesson to parents.
Yeah.
Be aware of what your kids are seeing around you.
Yeah. I remember one of our minister's child hung himself. I think she's the minister of water, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And we as parents asked ourselves, some parents could have even blamed her. Why asabon? Abona ing.
yeah.
See what?
Yeah.
Huh? How do you blame me? If my son had committed suicide during that period,
Everybody wow sabo.
wa asabon?
Yeah.
Hantle ntle ka go shwele wena pele, because vele le ntse re re wa shwa. Why did your child have to die for you? As a parent, you're irresponsible. So we need to be responsible enough to know our kids' habits.
Yeah.
That's where you start noticing. You know the habit, but this one, I didn't see it coming.
Nane.
Because remember, we are together, we're living in the same house, we are happy, we are restoring ourselves, we're going to breakfast together. I give him the card, I teach him, when you're going dating a girl, you must pay for breakfast. He says, but mom, you taught me that at 14 years old. You still teach me, I'm reminding you.
Yeah.
So you don't lose sight of what you need to do. If you can't afford this restaurant, take it where you can afford it. Garo, today you're paying wimpy. You can afford a nice breakfast there, right? It's not healthy for me, but I'll do it for you.
True.
And he does it. And you know, you start noticing when your child is not happy. Now he's able to say, Mom, can I have this? Can you afford this? Can I have this? Because he's beginning to have a personal relationship with me that he probably never had.
Yeah.
Where he could be honest and say, I need this.
Has the song made a difference in your relationship?
Absolutely, absolutely. I saw how he can hide pain.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Ooh. Now you got to see that.
I got to see that he's smiling every day, but this was happening.
Ooh.
What could have happened?
Yeah.
It was bad. In my opinion, I think it was a bad call or whatever. But
to do what he did.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it was a good call on the other hand.
Yeah.
Because he let out his
His
frustrations.
pain, yeah. What was your reaction when you first heard it? Did it throw you back? Did you say, what the hell is happening here?
Who did I get it from? I didn't even get it from him. Who did I get it from? My daughter.
Yeah.
She said, Bona ngwana hao wentse.
Yo.
Ngwana hao, not my brother. And then I said,
well, in those moments, we disown.
yeah. And then I said, yeah. So you were saying? I get it, I have my own opinion, but I'm not sharing it with anybody.
Yeah.
Probably this is the first time I've even spoken about it, to be honest. Interestingly.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever spoken about it, ever, to anybody publicly. And I said to the sister, talk to your brother and find out why. Don't ask me. Yeah. Because everybody was under the impression that I influenced him.
To do that?
They used the word use.
That's amazing.
They thought I used him to vent. And I'm thinking, darling, if I want to vent, I'm a professional venter. I will vent. If I want to tell you off and I want everybody to know, I will record a video.
Yeah.
I will tell you exactly so that I don't have interruptions. And I'll tell you exactly what I want to tell you.
You don't need a beat.
I don't need a beat. I don't need a press conference. It will create its own press conference.
That's true.
So the day I want to do that and I think I'm ready to do that, I will do it. Right now, I'll tell you something. I'm not ready to do that.
No.
The day I'm ready,
you'll know.
I won't even care hore mang o reng.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're a future potential client and you want to judge me based on that, whether you are this, I am not going to care. Because I'm going to be in a place where I'm saying, this is my story.
Yeah.
So the movie that you're going to watch, that the King David,
yes,
it's going to be, this is my story.
Wow.
Because you've asked me so many things, but you've probably asked me 30% or 20%.
I can only imagine.
Yeah?
Interesting you say it that way. A lot of people always say, your podcast, David, are very long. I say, I can't speak to a Sophie Ndaba that has achieved so much and not ask her for 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her life is not an hour long.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And imagine this has been, 2 hours?
Yeah.
And you say it's 30%.
Yeah.
I can imagine there's a lot more.
You don't even know what to ask because you don't know what I know you could ask, right? That
yes.
I'm linked to, that
yes.
you could say, what about?
Yes.
Right? Because so you're referring more to the Sophie that you know as Sophie that you know.
That's true.
So that's wonderful because there's still more time in the future to say, what about those things we didn't talk about?
yes.
The things you didn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like now, if you ask me, what happened for you to divorce? I'm going to tell you nothing. You get what I mean? Because I'm in that space where I'm not ready to talk about anything.
That's it.
In fact, I don't feel a need now. And now it feels like it's a bitter moment if I say it now. So when I say it later, and remember, when I speak with proof.
Yeah.
I don't speak with hearsay, with I think, so that Luena u imagine or
yeah.
You'll know when I start talking, I can back it up. So I always say to people, if you say something to me, back it up. Don't just say something to me. Yeah. I had people calling me, we are going to dissect you. We're going. You are a what? They called me so many names, right?
Yeah.
After the song, and I was laughing.
When you walked in, the first question I asked you is, do we have any limitations to our conversations? And you said there are things you're just not ready to talk about. And I have to respect that. As much as you're putting it clearly that there will be a day where you'll say,
David, where are you?
Yeah, I'm ready now.
Oh, worry.
What's
I'm at
going
home,
on?
I'm working. And you're whispering, I'm actually recording something. When you're done, call me.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, she's probably going to say something else. And then I'll say, let's record.
You're ready to
I want to record in your studio.
Yeah.
And I want you to interview me. And then I'm going to do it tell all.
Sure. All right. You ready? Tell all. Sophie Ndaba 2022. I'm being ambitious.
Power of the tongue, Or let's shoot a movie about it and let's educate women.
Yeah.
And there's so many things I want to do with it because I learned so much from it. It was not about a person. It was about the lessons.
That's true.
And, if you, as David, swindle me of 10 rand. David, don't kill a 10 rand warasa in the streets. I care if no sabatle David patile.
That's true.
So we tend to blame other people too much for our difficulties or our mishaps or our wrongs or our disappointments.
Or your life decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet you still had a chance to say no. And you didn't.
I'm going to ask a question that you may not be able to answer or you may not want to answer, and that's okay. Were you aware of the marriage you were getting into?
No,
You didn't see it coming.
no.
How soon into it were you aware of this? Oh, this is not. Oh, what have I done here?
In my tell-all, I'll tell you.
Done. That's fine.
I
take that.
specifically, in my marriage contract, divorce contract, put in a clause.
Yeah.
I drafted it.
Yeah.
I'm the one who filed for divorce. I drafted it, and I said, the both of us will not talk to media. There are kids up to age 4 years old that are involved in this relationship. They deserve, when the transition is happening of the person they called mom goes out and the new person they will probably call mom comes in, there must be no noise outside. There must be honor.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do or did to me, I must still honor you.
True.
You were my life partner. So you deserve that.
And the kids deserve
And the
that.
kids deserve that.
Yeah.
When we are all settled and we are laughing and we've forgotten, and I feel there is a need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that need must be relevant. It must not just be no.
Boreil.
No. If there is a need where I start running women's conferences, I can begin them by talking about me.
Yeah.
You know, playing a blame game, you allowed it. That.
True. So you don't play a blame game at all in this context.
No. I don't. I can talk about I can talk about when I do my tell-all about exactly what made me upset or leave or whatever. But that will not be the highlight.
Yeah.
The highlight definitely has to be, what did I learn from it, and how can you, the next woman, learn from it. Okay, press conference, but my past. Come on. I have to structure it in such a way that other people who are hurting can learn how you self-inflict yourself. We are busy blaming GBV and men.
And government.
Right? There are men by Longor it's GBV and you're like, take them to jail.
Yes.
There are men by Longor, they emotionally, mentally abuse you, take them to jail. Yes. But there are times where you had the right to walk. You had the right to say no to something when you said yes just because
Yeah.
Huh? So we play as women a very important role, and that role is lacking self-love. We want to be loved elsewhere because we have not identified the system of loving yourself.
I think if you loved yourself, you'd make decisions very different.
Oh, gosh, yes. So the first thing I did when I David, the scariest, saddest thing that I did is I stayed alone. I took everybody away. And I stayed alone in my house. Somebody was renting my house, asked them to leave.
Yeah.
Went back to my house.
Yeah.
Because no other spirit built that house except me. I'm a spirit. So I went there as a spirit. I didn't go there as Sophie the flesh.
Yeah.
And I started speaking to God. And I said, I'm going to look in this mirror every day and say, I love you, Sophie. Because I look at my life from childhood. I was always looking to be loved, but I didn't even see it. You're always looking. You're literally empty.
Yeah.
You're always looking for somebody else to fill this emptiness. Even when I had the most money, I was still looking. I still felt, I'm lonely. I'm alone.
I have a Porsche, but I slept alone.
I keep it dump a guy. Replace it and chan.
Yeah.
You understand? Because I'm scared of being alone.
Jeez.
That is a mental thing. When as a woman, you need to fight it and find your own space and say, I can wake up alone. I can eat alone. I can go watch a movie alone. I can strategize alone. I can dance up and down alone. I can sit in a bubble bath with a bottle of bubbly alone. I can sit in my garden and do a picnic and read a good book alone. Those are the things I did.
You find people struggled with that?
I struggled with it. I felt that I always needed somebody there.
Yeah.
I thought that. And I only realized that this year.
Wow. That's as recent as that.
Yeah. Chore, it's okay to be alone.
Yeah.
It's actually quite fabulous. And I was alone many other times, but It was not alone, flippantly so. It was alone because it's like, oh, Kitlamona next week. Okay, nice. So you had hope.
Yes,
Ya
true.
gore, wa tla motho
So there's still something
My
to
best
hold on
friend
to.
is coming to visit from Durban. She's going to visit for 2 weeks. Nice. I'm not going to be alone. I'm going to be traveling on business. Great. Doing site inspections. I'm going to be in Sun City. Let me invite a few friends and then keep a host.
Yes. So you don't want to do this alone.
When you look back, it's like a movie that's replaying. You know, like when they say when you die, God then plays the movie. I felt like God up there watching Sophie and saying,
So you're not proud of that movie?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I just believe that I sold myself out. And we are busy blaming other people, but they're not to blame 100%. You played an even more integral role than them.
You opened the door.
You opened the can.
And they just walked in.
The can was sealed. And then they said, Arajeng, and you said, okay, Aribuleng.
And when they become who they really are, it surprises you. But you're the one that set the scene for it.
And then you want to blame 100%. Impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to women out there, to mothers out there, be alert and learn to love yourself. I've got a product that I'm going to launch one of the days. It's called Self-Love.
Yeah.
People will know about it, and it just speaks to spending time with yourself.
Jeez.
Whether it's music, whether it's lipstick, whether it's cooking, it's called self-love. And I think even men themselves, the fact that a friend of mine was saying the other day, I'm bored. Arai man, ke boregile. Ngwanyana lo ambora, ke boregile ko ntlong. Ke bona o kare sofla tshwantse ke lo etsa something. And if that person, I ended up cancelling that person, kare, you have a void.
Yeah.
Ara so weekends what kare, call me whatever you want. I'm telling you the truth. You have a void. And you feel tshwantse be kwaleka kawash. You feel tshwantse be kwaleka banyana ba bangata. Tshwantse be kwaleka inkarami. I'm a sister to you. I'm telling you now. Find joy in your own company.
You'll be all right.
You'll have the best time of your life.
Wow. Wow, you have a lot of lessons. You do. Has life been good to you?
I'm the one who just was not good to myself. Life has been good to me. Come on. Look at all the things I achieved. You can't say life has not been good to you. You can't say God has not been good to me. I'd be stupid to say that. Yeah. Life has been awesome to me. It's me who was not good to myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm the recipient of anything good or bad.
Yeah.
And the decision on what I do with it as I receive it. Do I get le dombolo and my craving high 7 and then it's shrunk eventually? Or do I get le dombolo and warm it up for 10 seconds and say, ish up? You know, what do you do with what you get?
Yeah.
So life has been awesome to me. Sophie has not been awesome to Sophie.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you see when you see Sophie of the future? As your first phrase was reinvention and redoing and a second chance. What do you see?
Let me tell you, my mother was a spiritualist. My grandmother was a spiritualist. That's how my mother met my father.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I have a gift that I was given by my grandmother.
Yeah.
I'm a seer.
Okay.
Most of my ex-boyfriends used to say, I remember even an uncle of one of my exes saying, how do you know all these things? I don't know. Sophie connected to the Hawks. You know?
Wow.
I don't want to say names, but I'm telling you, 3 or 4 of them said that, and I laughed because it was something I was not aware of until much later. I have a gift.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll give you 2 stories quickly. The first one is, I'm a seer, I'm a prophetess. What I'm trying to say to you is that I was given this gift of praying for people a long time ago. And because I'm a bubbly person, I love my God. Everybody knows that. But I didn't take it to the level where it's at. Why? Black, if you know me very well, you remember I used to love black because it was slimming, number 1. Number 2, it's the sexy color make no mistake, for
What
women.
black color manure?
Like khala manyoro. So ne ke le lenyora, papa.
Yes.
And one day I went to a church, a Zion church, because my mother was kind of Zion. So I wanted to just experience. I get a Sansuri experience into study. When you talk about them, people are not naming you and shaming you and saying, yeah, plus when I because you can go kai, that's why only so only what that's how only what. No. I saw this and they told me, Hore, you need to start wearing white. And that's my mother's church. Of
course, yeah.
And I was like, oh, babuela bona. How dramatic. I'm not going to do that. I love white, but it's dramatic. I mean, I need to change every second, by the afternoon I need to wear another white one because it's very dust.
It's very dust.
It was just very, it was not complimenting me, And my cousin, who is a prophet actually, but in the church, I can't my profeta are traditional, my profeta are kereke.
True.
So she's my profeta wa kereke. And she says to me, do you remember, Sophie? And I said, remember what? And she says, do you remember when I was dying of AIDS? And I said, yes. She says, you remember what you said? You said stand up and walk. She had full-blown AIDS. She was a skeleton.
Jeez.
I went to her. I prayed for her. And I said, let's walk. And I said, you're going to walk me to the gate. She walked me to the gate. She took 1 hour to walk me to the gate. We would walk, stop, breathing problems. Walk, stop, breathing problems. And when I last prayed for her, I said, from tomorrow your life will never be the same again. And today, she's married with 2 children.
Jeez. After that walk.
Yeah. And she tells her testimony.
Yeah.
And my daughter, one of my daughters, my sister's daughter, the one who passed on, and she was at high school in Durban. One of my relatives said, we'll fetch her, we'll take her to, one of my ex-husband's relatives said, we'll fetch her to school, man. Bana baba borea ka di school holidays or weekends. We'll fetch her and we'll take her to our house for the weekend. Took her to Gateway, had lunch, wala. Young 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl. Fridays I used to pray for my children. People pray on Sundays. I used to have days where I pray for my business. So Friday was that day. So I'm on my knees, 7 o'clock at night, praying for an hour for my children. Lord, cushion them. I'm specific when I pray. I say, cover them, cushion them. I speak life into them. That very night, she had a car accident.
Wow.
The guy died. She lived. She walked out like Jesus.
Jeez.
She walked out. She called me, Mommy, we're in an accident. Where? At the bridge. What bridge? The car, the Range Rover jumped over the bridge and is down there. We're in a bush right now. Uncle's mamang is not breathing nice. I think he's dying.
Jeez.
She comes out, paramedics come.
Yeah.
I call the paramedics. They come because of medical aid. They come, helicopter, drama. When they get there, they want to put a neck brace on her. So one of the paramedics is talking to me on the phone and says, but are you sure this child was in the same accident? Yes. But she doesn't have a scratch.
What?
She's got only glass in her hair.
Yeah.
So we are literally doing this. There's no blood, there's no bruise, there's no anything, and she did not have a seatbelt on.
What in the world was that?
So she did this thing, your seatbelt.
Yes, those, yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, you want to look cool.
Yeah. She, up till today, she can come and tell you the story. She walked out like Jesus, and that guy died. And at the funeral, they were not happy because some of them were saying, oh, Mama, kono lawyer. And you're like, how do you lawyer with prayer? Yes, okay.
If that's what it is, then it's okay.
Because I arrived there 4 hours later, it's KZN. And I'm saying, hey, condolences. My daughter is there making tea. I get the same person was in the accident. Wow. They're all looking like this.
How in the world did this happen?
You see.
Wow.
And The other one that was quite freaky was my father when he was dying.
Yeah.
Before he died 10 years later.
Yeah.
10 years post.
Mm.
So I take him from Lesedi private. They don't do heart operations. He needed a pacemaker.
Okay.
He was on dialysis for kidneys. And we get to the hospital, and these ones, Borudo, they're still young. Bring your little fingers, so the nurses are watching this movie. Come to a more in agreement, it's done.
Hey.
They put their fingers.
Natural pacemaker.
Natural pacemaker.
Yeah.
Ambulance, but they call it a temporary. They take you with the ICU ambulance with a pacemaker on top of your heart to do this to the heart.
Of course.
Right? So by the time you get to the hospital, they now put you on the machines. So he's now on the machines. So what doctor the good news and the bad news. But the good news is that your dad is doing well. His blood pressure is normal. But we can't do the operation. So you need to prepare for his funeral.
Uh-oh.
Prepare for whose funeral? Yours or his? But his, never. But what do you mean? But sister, this movie, you know, Bara. We are now at Baragwanat where the top surgeons, heart surgeons are. Remember, Lesedi can't do it.
No, of course, yeah.
So go Bara, yes. So what is surgeon Indian? Lea lekhoa. Lea musut. Mixed masala.
Bare, not this one.
They actually thought I was freaky crazy. Shame. And then I said, but he's not going to die. And they said, ma'am, we need to get you a counselor. We need to get you cancelled. Is there anybody with you? No, I'm just me and my kids. But so your mother, where she's at September ICU.
Yeah.
She's in a coma herself.
Jeez.
So this guy is not in a coma. He's transferred to Lesedi and now he's here. So they're saying to me, so you've got 2 people in ICU. No wonder you've got such trauma.
Oh, that's how they see it.
Yeah. So I said, no problem. Yeah, I've got trauma for sure. Oh, come on. I'm traumatized.
Yes.
Literally, I am. Because I'm paying the bills. At that time, they didn't have medical aid. So I needed even to sell one of my houses just to get money to pay for the hospital, for their bills. And they said, okay, so say your goodbyes because he might make it overnight, he might not. And I said, but the pacemaker machine is here, so why wouldn't he make it overnight? They said, no, it's just at his age and the level his oxygen is going. It doesn't guarantee. You got to leave that to me and God. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, we'll talk tomorrow. Thank you so much, doctors. What time are you here? I'll be here. But 3 o'clock, I'll be here 3 o'clock. Brought my little things. Come, guys. Okay, mommy.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Yes.
Abracadabra. God.
I like that. Abracadabra.
Abracadabra, God. Right?
Yeah.
The key word was in Jesus' name. Abracadabra, God. And I said, we are reversing the blockage that prevents the heart from beating.
Yeah.
That was my uttering. My kids repeated after me. I said, it's unblocked. The nurses are sitting there.
Hey.
Yay. I get in those days I was on Generations.
Fortunately, there was not a phone.
And the next day at 3 o'clock, his heart was beating fine. He didn't need a pacemaker. He had 1 kidney, which meant dialysis continued, but I can pay for that in a private hospital.
Yes.
And they said, the oxygen level is back to normality. His heart is beating right. And I said, these are things you find in church in Sabar Abracadabra. And they make up stories. The guy never had a pacemaker problem. God, this one had a pacemaker problem.
We know that.
God, we know that, right? All of us, right. So when are we discharging him?
Yeah.
And then we just give him a script for dialysis. Go Mayo Clinic. And they said, okay, we'll give you the script, no problem. But we need to monitor him for 2 more days. And I said, no problem. 2 more days, I was there 3 o'clock again. Same doctors. I get a bite at this thing at the university.
True. They rotate
and so besides rotating, they do this research.
True.
About
It's
people
a
like
training.
guinea pigs.
You're right, yeah. I have a friend that works as a medical doctor at Barra, so I know exactly what they do.
Yeah. And it's not even like locum style. It's literally you are under the big physician or specialist and you are students. Shadowing.
Yes.
So the shadowers, they too. Kids are traumatized to fit the main doctor because they're thinking, now how do we deal with this? as doctors if we are now faced with something like this.
Yeah.
When you're mature, you've seen stuff, but we're not, it's our first time. So they were freaked out.
How the hell did this one recover?
Because they were there the second day. Remember, they are on a week training or maybe a month training, but
Yeah.
I get it now, I was there for a week. So what I'm saying to you, David, King David, is that I'm Queen Sophie.
Yeah.
And I've got a calling beyond my own imagination. I haven't even begun to tap into it. I don't even know, let me be honest, how to tap into it. It's moments that allow moments to happen.
Yeah.
And in the past, they would be like 5 years apart, these moments, and they're still happening. You know, even, I will not tell the recent one, but what I can tell you is that I've got a calling that I'm going to pursue. And it's very simple. Serving my God. And I'm not going to stand in front of a pulpit. I'm not going to be an abracadabra anywhere telling people or I'll make miracles. If somebody comes to me and needs help, I'll help them.
That's it.
That's it. And that thing is not pre-planned through an advert. Ne?
No.
That person wakes up. There's a lady who came to SABC and she says, I had a dream that I need to talk to you. My mother wants to commit suicide. You need to pray for her.
Jeez.
That time, Queen.
Yes. Why would this person...
But does Queen pray? Let's just start there. How should a Queen
Or my darling.
Darling.
Yes.
Let's pray. And then it's a joke.
Yes.
Yeah. And you don't know what comes out of it.
Wow.
So it's an interesting calling, and I see it more and more in everything that's around me. And I'm beginning to understand, when David, why you asked me, I'm telling you this story because you asked me about my journey. Do I have regrets? Do I have anything? I'm beginning to be mature about it instead of emotional about it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very quick to say no comment, because I'm not about sharing and then I'm Matisa and then Kajamba and
yes,
then...
and yeah.
I'm not there yet. If I have to say stuff, it has to benefit something.
It shouldn't just be a story.
No, for what? Why are we telling the story? What's our benefit?
For the likes.
Yeah, for the likes on Instagram,
Yes,
maybe.
yes.
Yo,
For the followers.
Utolora, I got 500,000 views.
Yes,
a million
and
views.
It's exciting. Then
and then
what?
but it's one day.
Yeah, and then what?
And then what?
Yeah.
So I need to tap into something that's lifetime. And that's my purpose, why I'm here.
Interesting. Somebody asked me, why do I do these podcasts? I said, people's stories I'd never documented. We have that problem in this country. The first person who sat on that chair came to the Grand Chakwan.
Wow.
And a year later, he passed on. But between the time he sat on that chair for the first time and the day he passed on, we became the best of friends.
Yeah.
And it's something that I wouldn't have had if I didn't invite him to sit here. I spent hours and hours.
He learned you
Yes.
whilst you were... I'm sitting here learning you and saying, but I've known you for so many years.
You see what I mean?
And now I'm even getting to know you even more, because
Yeah.
I was falling in love with the music,
Yeah.
not the person that's playing the music. And now I realize, there is more to you as a human being.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is somebody, if I say, can I pass this by you? You'll get me.
Uh-huh.
There are people that you can say, can I pass this by you? And depending, of course, always, depending on what are you passing by.
Of course.
Yeah. And then that person will get you. But you're on a level where you know, if you spoke to Sophie, this is the level I understand her now. I see Sophie from a different eye. If I'm talking to Jabu, I see a different Jabu. If I'm talking to Lerato, I'm seeing a different Lerato. And that's what I'm appreciating about this.
Yeah.
That's why you are the first person that I even spoke things that I've never spoken about, because I'm relaxed. It's like I'm talking to my brother at home and I'm chilled out and I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
And then Abut is like,
simple language.
and Abut is like,
In
ay man,
French.
now can say like Abut, like so be ready. It's about emotional.
Yeah.
So I'm just in that place where I'm just in a happy space when David and my purpose, I found it, is to help people.
True.
My purpose is to do what I love the most, which is doing events. My purpose is producing things that eyes have not seen. Research is one of my most exciting, favorite pastimes, just to research Dinto.
Yeah.
To research, I've never researched people, but I researched Dinto projects. How does this house go up? How does this...
Wow.
It answers how I got to break down one house, put it up again, and project manage it without
Yes.
going to school for it. Just
You were
research.
curious.
And
How
it
do
was,
we do this?
and it was somebody else's money
Yeah.
on their house. How they trusted
Wow.
me, only God knows. You know,
Jeez.
I had a woman knock on my door and say, "You do interior, right? I heard from the security that you do interior." I do weddings. And I said, "Yes, I do interior."
Yeah.
Wedding interior. She says, no, house interior. And I said, "Yes, that too." And that was my first gig.
Wow. And you've done
Doing
a few
somebody's
more
house,
after
3
that.
million rands later of doing somebody's house interior. First job,
Imagine
knock on the
that.
door. So when you've got favor, David, let me
Yeah.
tell you something. When you've got favor, no matter what somebody does to you or people do to you, God will always restore you
Yeah.
and take you back to the glory where He wanted you to be. Vele, vele, vele.
True.
So it's a journey. It's like the kids of the Israelites, and they went to the promised land. They went through a lot, but God was in it. So I'm saying my storms, God was in them.
Yeah.
That's why today I can have a moment to talk to you. Now you would be saying in memoriam, ya Sophie.
Eish.
Ke bolelwe ke heart attack.
Eh,
But I'm here, and we are talking about where I'm going now. Gore ga nyono, no ke supermodel, I can swimsuit o a show papa. I can now walk like a supermodel.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
You're
girls who are half my age don't look as sexy as I look.
You're the Sophie of Zimbabwe.
Of Zimbabwe.
Yes.
The beauty queen on about le Iman
Naomi Campbell.
Iman and Naomi Campbell were my girls. Like, how can I get into a modeling agency? Does Iman or Naomi Campbell make me that?
Nothing else.
Nothing else. I'm not negotiating, you know.
Amazing.
So now I'm mature. I'm going into a level where I'm finding my purpose.
Yeah.
You found your podcast purpose.
I did.
I'm finding my purpose of helping people while I give them a good time. You
Yeah.
have no idea how many married, engaged people that were to be married that I cancelled whilst I'm about to do their wedding. That's when you see God in it, huh?
Jeez.
You
And you
find-
were there for the chairs and the tables.
I was there for the chairs and the tables, and then they say, "Can I ask you something?"
Yo.
And then you know it's coming. Yes. Yes, in the time I need allowance. Do you think it's right to go? He pays for a wedding of 3 million and doesn't give me an allowance?
Yo.
Something that simple.
Yes.
That's something that your
Well, it's-
sister can
I must
answer.
admit, it's not that simple for me.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
You know?
Yeah.
And then another one says,
I wouldn't know what to say, though, just so
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And then another one says, okay, they go, they come back. He comes back with the best friend. What's happening? No, I'm no longer marrying that one. I'm marrying this one. How?
Yeah?
So that's a movie on its own of the
What?
things that happened when I was planning events. So I could
Yeah.
write a book on my
Yes,
my
yes.
weddings
Yeah.
and title it My
The-
Weddings.
The weddings I've put together.
Yeah.
Yo,
You know? So it's
crazy.
been amazing. It's been an amazing journey.
And there's more coming.
That's why I get go now, Baba. I've told you 30% of what's.
I think we're
is
on
cooking.
35 now. Let's give me that.
We're on 40.
Give me that.
We're on 40, touching on 50, which is a good thing. My movie that I'm going to shoot about my life, it will stir a lot of drama, but I think it's important that we tell true life dramas.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure when I'm going to shoot it because I'm busy writing the script now. Writing a script over a year or two allows you to delete what's irrelevant and put in what's relevant, because in my movie, it has to be true life drama for somebody to learn from it, not for entertainment only. You know? And it has to be strategically done that it doesn't look like a documentary.
True.
It must be a movie.
Yeah.
My movie is going to be like, what's that movie with that woman? It's on Netflix.
What is that?
You know,
I'm looking
it's,
at Shakes thinking, is there a movie that stands out?
yes, there is.
Yeah. Is it currently on?
It's a black woman who was duped by a guy.
Ooh, I suck with television lately. I'm the wrong person.
No, it was out last year, I think.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, horror movies like that are so authentic because
I think I know it.
happens.
She married a younger guy. And that guy, the truth came out a few months into the marriage, and he just became a complete asshole. Okay, I know it. And
So
she lost everything.
And she lost everything.
Yes,
Her
okay.
house,
I forgot
everything.
what the name of it is.
So I'm saying
Black actors.
black actors.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that movie reminds me of my life so many times.
Yeah.
Not once. in different ways.
Jeez.
So I'm just thinking, how do you incorporate all of that and make it make sense?
Into 2 hours. Yeah.
But you're just telling a story. You change the names, of course.
True.
But if that person has to sit and watch, this is names. You know? But I think people need to learn, especially women, even men, who think they can get away with it.
Wow, man, now I remember that movie. They were hooked up by the mother of the son. She was in it also to get money from this woman.
Old people.
Yes.
You remember?
So this guy would date older people and wow.
Charm them.
Amazing. I remember it now.
You remember it now. And it can be as real as it was. And she even went to jail.
He did.
For him.
Wow. I remember it so clearly now. Okay.
So the question is, what would you do for your partner?
Yeah.
That word love.
Hey.
All in the name of love. How far would you go?
Whoa.
David, how far would you go?
Well, let me try to answer that. I don't know. I'll have to find out in this situation because I don't think anybody can answer that. And I'll tell you why. They say, how high would you jump if a snake appeared under your feet?
It would be instant.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know how high until that moment is right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How fast would you run if suddenly there was a lion chasing you? You think you run fast until there's a lion. It's like, yo.
Then you're like, I don't know even how I jumped over the fence.
You know that story.
Yes.
You know that story.
Yeah.
I don't know how I jumped that fence. And if you ask me to jump that fence now, when there's no lion, I wouldn't know where to start. But bring a lion here. Maybe you're an incredible person.
Thank you. So
You're an asset to all of us. And I think, I know you'll continue to be. And conversations like this one make me realize how much more you still have to offer. And I say to you, whatever it is that you're planning to do, I think young women need your help. Young men need to hear your story so they can not necessarily hear the story, but hear what you have to tell them, because there's so much you can tell a young guy who is behaving in a way that you look at and say, I've seen this page before. I've read this book before. And let me tell you, Ntwana, this is how this story ends. And I think you are perfectly placed to share your experiences as an education to a lot of people. And we're waiting for that. Whether it's with regards to your health, your upbringing, your marriage, how you raise your kids, how you relate to them. It's everything, whether it's related to being famous, because that's a life on its own altogether, you know.
And there's a purpose in being famous. People don't even know that there's a purpose in being famous. The minute you're known, people listen to you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's part of the journey. That's why it was at the very beginning of my life, being a model, being a TV star. Now I'm where I'm settled.
Yes.
Whether I'm a TV star or not, it's neither there nor there.
Yeah, it doesn't bother you.
You give me a role to act, you don't cast me, you cast me.
It's
neither there nor there for me anymore. Because I've done my part, I've won my awards, I've done the curtain.
You've launched brands.
Best Price and More.
Capitec.
You know, everything that I wanted to do, I've done.
Yeah, that's it.
All I need to do now is to serve, David.
Yeah.
I want to serve people. I want to live to help people, but I want to have fun doing it.
We're waiting.
I want to have fun doing it, so I can't wait.
We're waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Sofla. I prefer that.
Yes, the great Sofla.
Wow. Thank you so much for visiting. I was nervous. I always am when I have to host people. But I think I learned a lot more from this conversation than you realize. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, King David.
So you're coming back, right?
I'm coming back. I get a plan a movie. Tell all.
Tell all.
Well, maybe I'm telling all about my breast implant. It could be anything. So the tell all can be anything. So don't say, hey, tell all. It's anything. It can be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. So we're waiting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome. Kisanganga, cheers to the show.
Amazing. Wait.
Amen. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you helped me with my Lucozade. I might just cut down. It's my drink of choice.
Drink water first and then Lucozade.
Yeah.
On top of the water.
And also coffee. I don't drink many, but I definitely drink a morning coffee. And today, I didn't. And I didn't need to.
And
I didn't
it's a
feel like I
mental
needed
thing,
to.
right?
Yes, I didn't feel like I needed to. And I was like, okay, this is good. And I remembered it. Wow, I didn't have coffee today. And this is good. I feel okay.
There's nothing different.
No,
you feel
not
like
at all.
if you had 3 cups even.
Yes. Sometimes I have 2. By 9 o'clock, I've already had 2 coffees. So you helped me realize that, hey, man.
First thing that must come into your stomach is water.
Yeah.
Everything else follows. It creates the lining that you need.
Do you know, I like Lucozade so much that people who buy it for me. So thank you very much.
But that guy's a gift, ne?
But one two, sir.
Yeah. No, at least 100 Red Bull, at least. Una Lucozade.
Nice leh.
Nice leh.
Mo.
It gave me diabetes, darling.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Wow.
Here's to water.
We out. See ya.
King David Studio Podcast.